Join to the Simrigs Sprint Series Monza round 4 with Split Blue here. I myself, Sean Bubner, aka Noski, is joined with the lovely Sean Brimblecombe. How are you, sir?
I'm very good. I'm noticing it is a little bit moist out there, hence probably the name Split Blue for the split water, I guess.
There is a little bit of moisture on the screen there. I know that last night in yellow they got a little bit of moisture in the quali, but then it was dry for the entire race. So I dare say that these lovely people in blue would probably be hoping for something similar, maybe, or maybe there's someone in there that likes the wet.
I mean, the wet is definitely pretty interesting. I think we're currently in free practice now by the looks of it, just waiting for people to finish off the end of their laps. But yeah, well, I guess we'll have to see once the session ticks over and we get a look at the new weather. I guess it really depends on how moist the server wants to be. It could be just a case of one of those small chances of rain 24/7. Ooh, and it's still raining.
It's still got the wet stuff, and it looks like it's going to be the wet stuff increasing in the next 30 minutes as well. You got the double stream of rain there, followed by a nice little single stream, then a double stream in 30 minutes. So don't look for the most speedy of times around here for Monza. I don't think they'll be dipping into the 40s at this stage. Well, the high 40s, I should say. 60s, 70s, that sort of vicinity of what was last night's pace. But don't be afraid if you see like some mid 50s. I think it's about what 10 seconds gap from dry to wet, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, something like that. It's just going to be a case of who can really get those tires the correct tire pressure, because the weather, the water are going to change over the course of the session with the rains coming in, getting a bit lighter in about 10 minutes. So we might see a stage where I don't think we'll see any dry tires, but it's definitely going to be an evolving track as the water gets picked up and pushed away by those wet tires.
I can't say I've actually done much running here in the wet, but it does seem to be a bit of my forte when I'm actually out on the track. But I know that the Lesmos are deadly in the dry, let alone in the wet, especially if you manage to kiss the curb or run that slightly bit wide. It's going to definitely send you off into the wall at excessive speeds. So hopefully everyone out here is far more capable and skilled than myself, and will not be presenting that kind of drivership that I do. But power to them if they can do some wicked lap times in this wet conditions, because it's going to be some tricky racing.
It's going to be very spicy, and especially like, who knows, maybe we'll get a wet race as well, since the weather's obviously holding. You know, we're looking 30 minutes into the future and it's still raining. It's going to get harder, so we might be dealing with a wet race here. And for those people that haven't sorted out their wet pressures, this will be a little bit of a lucky moment, because they'll be able to get those pressures dialed in over qualifying. They might not get that qualifying time they want, but they might have better race pace, move through the field, something like that. Might provide for some more interesting racing. As we were with Mia Rose getting started on her first flying lap. I think the Porsche is one of the better cars in the rain, if I'm not mistaken, with
It
that
is
engine in the rear.
absolutely god tier in the rain. It is phenomenal to drive. It's almost like it drives in the wet. It's great. Sorry, almost like it drives in the dry in the wet. See, words are hard. I know what I was trying to say. We got there in the end, but it just up the TC, I think, and basically plant your foot in it. It's golden.
Yeah, I mean, that's the benefit of putting the motor exactly on the rear axle, just slapping it on the booty there. It just gives you so much traction on the loud pedal and nice rotation throughout the corner. So I definitely think the Porsches are going to be the cars to beat around here tonight. Not really sure what other brands are nice in the wet as much. I know.
The Ferrari's not horrible. So the Ferrari could be quite good. I'm not sure about like the Beamers, and I think they're not horrible either. I think McLaren just doesn't like it, regardless. I think it's because some kind of weird TC sort of issue going on, that it needs to have like a TC 2.7 for it to actually be effective, rather than a 3 or yeah. I don't know. There's some big people out there would be far more intellectually able to answer that than myself because I just make cargo burr, but that's about all I can do.
100%. And then there's all those crazy people that just turn the TC off. What are they doing? Not in the rain though. No TC off tonight.
Yeah, well, actually, no TC could be a strat. I mean, down the straight once you're rolling, no TC, but
Yeah,
then you'd probably want to
maybe.
get back into TC pretty quick, I reckon.
Ooh, and we're in the low 50s. Low 52 for Mia Rose there, 52.2. Good start. About a second off from the rest of the field. So that's really a strong first lap, and I guess it's up to the rest of the field to get those tire pressures dialed in, get those tires warmed up, and you got to find your braking points. It's always different every time with the rain. As the track's actually damp right now, it's gone from wet to damp. So I think we're gonna see it ramp up over the next couple laps.
Yeah, as you can see on the widget at the top there, we have got a little bit of just a light rain, and it does look like it's going to get a bit less in about 10 minutes, but then increases again in the next half hour. But is it sad to say that since I haven't done a lap here in insert time frame here, that 52.2 is probably almost faster than I can go in the dry?
I I hate to say it, but yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm not quick around here, so I won't have any any big words of wisdom for those listening in chat this evening, other than yeah, drive car fast, hit loud pedal on straights.
You hit loud pedal on straights, hit slow pedal into slow zones, and time is presented. But yeah, 52 is quite speedy. I wasn't actually expecting it to be that fast at this point. Obviously, I got out there on a nice bit of the racetrack, clear air. As we're on board with me here again, are we going to get an increase or a decrease in time, I should say? But an increase on the gap in the field. It does 52 flat. So yeah, creeping up that gap to Reynolds in the Nissan as my phone goes off at the most inappropriate time.
Just say it's a work call. It's all good. The Yeah, just a smaller increase in time there. Coming back into the pits probably doesn't have those tires dialed in just yet. Um, as Layla Bell, 5th place. It's a good start. I'm sure the Porsche drivers are going to hate me cursing them by saying that they're going to do well this evening. But I think it's just a case of getting your eye in. Got to relearn those braking zones. Got to figure out where the traction is. Get those settings all lined up. Adjust that brake bias. There's so many things that you got to do from a dry car to a wet car, I should say, because some people might even have a dedicated wet setup. That's if they're
That is
really going
far too
hardcore
beyond
about
my
it.
strategy for that. I drive one setup, and that is the same as a quali setup or a racer. I don't know the difference because I can't do quali because not that good. I don't
Quali
have
is
the
just
skill.
race set with less fuel, is it not?
Exactly, that is my strat, and that is also my wet set, just with added TC because I forget to change brake bias and that on the fly unless I get yelled at by fellow drivers at the time. And like, hey, how come you haven't done it? I'm like, oh yeah, whoops. And then I'm like, well, what number do I go to? They're like, oh, I'll put it about here. And then I probably bin it in the wall before I need to. But that's fine. That's a skill issue on my part. But yeah, another Porsche here sitting in a P7 here with Isla Bell. Always quite speedy. Not doing too bad. Probably faster than I can go here in the wet. Current time, the best time of a 53.6. Currently a tenth up. Can we get it a couple, maybe another tenth or so through the parabolic here? Not sure what kind of condition this car is like through this section of the track. I know that in the dry when I have done it, it does feel loose if you get on the loud pedal a little bit too early, but doesn't actually lose or gain much on entry or exit there. It does get a slight increase, but actually drops a position because I think Nipris actually jumped up above.
Yeah, that GTR is pretty good around here. Like this, it's obviously a power track. You need some good power and top end, but it's not a hugely long straight, especially the back straight where you're getting into sixth gear, but you're only just kind of tickling sixth gear, which is really good for the GTR because it runs out of puff up top, but it's got so much go as shown by Ashlyn Reynolds putting it in P2. It's pretty good. 8 tenths off off roads, and in the rain, you can gain seconds by just finding that right line. So you just gotta figure it out. It's a really hard battle to do, especially for qualifying. Um, Qualifying is, yeah, in the wet is just probably the worst, because when you're in the wet, you want to drive safely. You want to get the car around the track, without crashing.
Ah,
But
is that
in
what you meant
qualifying,
to do?
yeah, no, you're supposed
Imagine
to
that.
try and hit as many sick clips of you drifting as possible. That's
Oh,
what
then
you're
just
meant to
watch me
do.
in the dry then. Don't worry about the wet. I just drift everywhere because I have put my foot down far too early than I shouldn't. Just pray that the TC kicks in. But yeah, Reynolds here has just been pipped down to fourth by another Porsche Vetigo doing 52.6-ish, if my math ain't too bad, and Johnston with a 52.9, 8.9, yeah, 9-ish, roughly. So the Porsches are definitely feeling very speedy at the moment. Johnson with the McLaren doing an absolutely phenomenal lap as well. Nothing really sort of scaring me at this stage, I would think, being, roughly half a second quicker than anyone else on the field at the moment, but still just on 5 minutes of quali remaining, plus a little bit extra, because obviously we know the servers tick down. So plenty of time for the top order to shuffle around. As we see also, Lila Bell's back up into P7. Now just a second off the pace, so she's managed to jump back up as well.
Nice improvement there, about half a second, which is decent. I've noticed Mia Rose was sitting in the pits for a while there. I don't know if she's just waiting for a nice bit of clear air to go out into, but should hopefully see some improvement there from her. So I think the track conditions should be getting better as we're driving, because this car's picking up water. 'Cause we're still at damp. Yeah, we're still at damp. So I think we should see people keep on improving, because the rest of the fields managed to improve while Mia was sitting in the pits doing math calculations, changing settings in the.
Signing
Oh,
autographs and all that
that's
kind of
getting a
thing.
bit close there.
Yeah, for those that are new to the OR and quali sort of things, if you are on a valid lap, you are not allowed to do any form of overtaking. That is why Sean had a bit of a cringe moment there, as we literally see someone overtake a uh, invalid car. So that one's actually legal. But yeah, that's why the whole was happening. For those that aren't aware of it, but fairly common to see. Oh, that was a bit of extra sausage there through the second chicken. But yeah, it's a hard thing to navigate, the old qualifying. You've got to try and find that gap, and then hope and pray that especially with Monza as well, because obviously you can lose an abundance of time through certain sectors or certain corners, because you do need to carry an absolute boatload of corner speed here to get any kind of real lap time, and you have to sync it all up. So if you do have a bit of an oops, you just end up losing an absolute truckload of time throughout the lap, and it's sort of like you never catch it back either, which is always a bit of a sort of kick in the teeth.
I think that's probably one of the main reasons why Monza is pretty low on my list of tracks. Um, you make a tiny mistake in one of the chicanes and you lose so much time, and you think, oh yeah, I can send it a little bit harder, and then you lose more time again, and it just doesn't make sense. It's such a punishing track to lap over and over and over again. Um, Obviously, it's got its place in motorsport history, being such a old venue. But yeah, it's it's got no respect from me. I'll be I'll be bold to say, because I know there's a lot of people that enjoy Monza across the region. As Vetiga goes 52.3, only 2 tenths away from Mia Rose. That's a very decent showing, putting those Porsches 1-2 as well.
Yeah, that is definitely a very speedy lap time there by Vertigo. So that would have definitely perked out the old eyes of Mia Rose there, realizing only just 2 tenths behind. Vertigo is knocking on the door, and Reynolds is only 6 tenths behind at this stage. Currently almost a tenth up, exiting Lesmo 2 there. Loses a bit coming down this, I wouldn't say it's a long straight, but it's long enough. You get up to, well, he's in sixth gear there. I was going to say it's fifth gear, but Nissans have a weird gearing that I don't understand, because they always seem to be a higher gear than any other car through any section of the track. That was a lot of curb. I wish I could do that without dying in the car that I try. But gained a little bit through the through Ascari, and loses a little bit on the exit. Diving down now towards a Parabolica. Let's see if it gained a little bit of time. So far, gains a little bit on the entry. Can you hold it? It's about a tenth and a half. Loses a little bit again. And it's only going to get a marginal increase if the actual lap stays valid. It's just a half a tenth potentially. And yeah, just that half tenth at the moment. So gained a little bit on the entry, but obviously probably carried a little bit too much speed, had to overslow, and then lost it on the exit. But this will be the last chance for a few drivers now because you're into the last 30 seconds of quali. As we're on board with Holmes here, a couple 2/10, 3/10 up now through Ascari, looking quite nice. Always up to 4/10. Can he hold the line? Looking good. Bit of a wobble on exit though. Not looking too shabby.
Staying in it, foot planted, no fear. It's probably a very scary section of corners, old Ascari, with with a bit of rain to make it a bit more spicy. Just, oh yes, that's just Lou keeping it even on the exit. It's gonna be a pretty decent time as he puts in a 52.6 P3. Not bad. We'll have to see how everybody else stacks up because I think the track may be ramping up slightly as Ashlyn Reynolds just keeps it barely in play there. That was so close to being an invalidation.
I'm surprised it actually wasn't, to be honest. I thought that was well out into the old AstroTurf area. But obviously the game knows better than my eyes because, you know, I'm old and things. But it was actually that. Oh, how's that not invalid? I thought that was way off line. But managed to still keep it on the black stuff and within the track limits, still gaining a little bit of time. I'm not sure whether actually this little tiny gap, if he maintains this positive delta at the moment, actually will pip Holmes for P3, but it depends on how he goes on the exit here, but does gain up to a tenth at the moment. You're going to have the boot fully planted, which well and truly in that Nissan it is, continuing to hold in that 1/10 and pips it at the last second to gain that bottom step of the podium for P3.
Just gets it back. That was very nice.
But Johnson might say otherwise at the moment.
Johnson, yeah, 2/10 up. If he keeps this, that'll be P3. It seems to be a recurring segment in this in our show this evening.
Had the battle for P3
as he gets them both. Wow, P3 for Johnson, really nice.
In Presley, so 2 Porsches, and then a McLaren and a Nissan, and then a Ferrari. So 4 manufacturers top 5. That's not bad. And what else we got? We got a BMW and P7 there, and I think that was basically the only other car that I can see in the top 10 that is a different one. So not too shabby. And we have a very, very wet track by the look of it for the race. 70 minutes of Monza in the wet, potentially. This is going to get spicy with the double stop.
Definitely. And it looks like the rain is staying strong medium rain until 30 minutes where it's slightly easing, but yeah, it's going to be fully wet for at least the first half of this race. Who knows what will happen in the next 30 minutes, because we can only see 30 minutes into the future on our weather radar. But the temperatures dropped just a little bit. We've got a slight wind, 1 kilometer wind, so that will be affecting the weather, just slowly pushing it through. But yeah, I think we're going to be in for just a full wet race, which is quite exciting actually. I was kind of hoping for a wet race and sprint and split yellow, because I'm not the biggest fan of Monza in the dry, but Monza in the wet, hey, that could have been a bit more fun. Who knows?
It's spicy, or moist I should say, as we get a nice little pan through the grid here. Looking at some of these exceptional liveries as always. There are some fantastic people out there that can do the things that make these cars look absolutely phenomenal, and I am definitely not one of them. I sort of whinge and complain to get people to actually do it for me, and then I thank them profusely until they do another one for me, and then I thank them again. But yeah, some absolutely gorgeous looking cars. Don't think I have a favourite one at all. I haven't actually seen all these at the moment, but that little Porsche on the left there is quite nice. Yeah, you've got a Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew, yeah, that's lovely.
Was
Yeah. Liveries are the thing that kind of makes this whole sim racing thing the best, because you can put whatever you want on it to a certain degree, as long as it's family friendly. And so people can run, make up their own teams, run Taco Bell, whatever they want to do. It's the world's your oyster, which is pretty cool. It just adds another level of expression and immersion for everyone involved, which is I think is quite fun.
it's always good to see your little creations out on track, or like people's adaptations of what they think is a cool livery, etc. But yeah, it does add that extra height into the field, which is quite nice. But yeah, I think going back to the actual conditions, I'm gonna firmly say that the wet race is confirmed for the entire 70 minutes we have here of Monza, because I don't think 1k an hour is really going to do much. Yeah, I think get your oars out, get the boats ready, because there's going to be some puddles happening as we go for our formation lap here, led by Mia Rose in that lovely looking Porsche, in the 909 car, followed by Vertigo and Johnston running at the top three. You see a lovely Windows graphic there. Thank you to our hamsters in the wheel showing us that.
Now, this is going to be a really important stage of the race because, well, I don't think you can actually get the heat into the brakes to stop you from going straight on a T1 when it's wet like this. Like, it is really hard to get your tires up to temperature at what seems like a sedate 120 kilometers an hour, but obviously well over the legal limit in some places. But in these cars, you're just cruising. It's not fast enough to get those brakes properly hot, and I don't think I think everybody's going to be taking it very easily into turn one, hopefully avoiding all the usual Monza things that happen. I
You
hope.
mean the standard Monza vortex of doom and death at turn one?
Yep,
It
yep.
is a thing, but I mean, it also there is some praise, bit of both. I don't know. We got through some of it, yeah, last night when Yellow. I think we managed to get through it the first sort of two laps. So hopefully, these drivers are of a capable level that they will be able to mimic the same results and go from there. So hopefully, they do have a higher skill than what we are trying to curse them with right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's wet. Like, half the grid getting through cleanly will be a pretty good day in the office for Split Blue. Usually they are the cleanest, and gives the stewards a bit of a reprieve before Split Blood, right after them.
Good old Split Blood, aka Split Red, for those that are playing at home. As we looks like we're going into double file territory as they come down for the last bit of their formation lap. Doing a nice staggering there of a 1 to 2 car gap between each of them, or some are a little bit closer than that, which is all fine due to ping and all that. Trundling down at a lovely 80 kilometers an hour there, getting ready to just coast around the parabolica. Just trying to sort out the field now, get those gaps nice and closed. People doing their last little ditched efforts to try and maintain some form of tyre temp and pressures. But as we come around this final corner, I'm going to take a big swing at this, and hopefully I don't curse this. Seems I'm already in the motions of it. There's a little bit of a gap there that I hope they tuck that up before the start of the race. It looks like that Beamer is closing up on the back of the Porsche there. I think that's Lila Bell's Porsche I'm looking at
I think
potentially.
that's Ethan Payno there,
Yeah,
number
hopefully Ethan
117.
will sort it out as we're waiting for this green light to drop. Cruising down this does feel like an eternity when you're sitting at 80 Ks for such a long time. Come under the first gantry, across the start finish line, and then the lights go green. Looks, oh, that Holmes got an absolute launch of a start there. It was go three wide, probably not the smartest thing. There's a bit of grass contact there by Vertiga. Going to take a very safe line into turn one. Mia got a fantastic start, but Holmes, got a wicked launch. Went from P5 to P2 in the just this
That
drag down the front straight, which is absolutely insane. So far, not too horrible through the first corner. A bit of three-wide action. Couple had to take evasive action through the runoffs there, and one actually went a bit wide. But so far, so good. We'll just have to see if they can continue this momentum and show us the class level that is presented before us, but so far, turn 2 is no, sorry, not turn. This is actually turn 5 and 6 because math, or 4 and 5, one of the two. And as we come into the first lesmo of this lovely 7 rate, that could have almost been rear contact there, but Johnston still doing not a horrible job there, but actually wouldn't want to be where he is right now. Oh, there's been contact and there's some murder.
Ooh.
Hold the brakes, watch the lines, everybody. Caution on the lesmo 2. Oh,
Whoa,
somehow they're
wow.
navigating this and it hasn't caused an absolute car park, but they've done well there. But I think the stewards will definitely be getting a tap on the shoulders to have a look at that incident.
Definitely. I'm speechless. I was watching that and just in awe, just how everybody managed to get through there. What a mega start from Holmes. Oh, there it
dear.
is. Oh no.
Oh,
Oh no.
no, we're still rolling. We're still good.
We're still good?
I think we're
No?
still under green conditions. I haven't seen the safety car. No, that looks like a safety car.
Ooh,
Yep, that is a safety
yep,
car.
that's a safety car. Now everybody just needs to, it's wet. They need to stagger, make sure they don't have any secondary contact. That would be really, really sad.
Yeah. Note to drive. If anyone has a message to the drivers right now, you are not ghosted. Stagnate to the other side of the car at the track ahead of you. You will survive much longer. But yeah, that was almost bound to happen because obviously, as I said, cold tires, cold brakes, and Ascari at the best of times is absolutely horrific if you get it wrong, let alone you add in puddles and stuff. And just in chat there, apparently Spidey hit a puddle on the straight and went into the wall before turn 1. Oh, the sadness.
It's sad to hear. I think from looking at that incident, I think it might have been Layla Bell and Grant Begg getting into each other there because Layla Bell was backwards and so was Grant Begg on the racing line, hence why getting collected up. Nobody's pitting, so obviously it must be superficial damage for now, but that is really not what you want at the start of your race. You got 70 minutes though to claw it back. 2 pit stops it's a lot of time, but that extra 10 minutes does make a difference, especially around here with a reasonably short lap, only just under 2 minutes in these conditions. So you've got an extra 5 laps to kind of catch up and make some moves, especially if you're driving something like the BMW. Got some power underneath that hood to try and make those passes work. But
Just going to point this out too because PG's done a fantastic job, which is absolutely hilarious in my eyes. You have caused this incident, by the way, Sean, because you said that the rain will give a reprieve to the stewards, and look what you've done.
Well, it's the job. It's the job of the commentator to create action on track. Be that for better or for worse. So you can just thank me for some enjoyable content to watch.
Definitely the latter in this one. Not for better. This was definitely for the worse, but that's all right. I'm going to take a rough stab and say we'll be going green at the end of this little bit, within this lap, and be a single file restart. Obviously, like normal, I think we're just cruising along now. I don't think a lot of people would have tried to. I mean, obviously there wasn't a lot of damage. They were trying to go through the pain of it because they won't want to waste an extra stop. Though some people have taken the chance to duck in and repair. Obviously, not ticking off one of their mandatories for tires. But with the field bunched up like this, it does give you the chance to sort of go around at a higher speed, get that temp and tire pressures up a little bit faster than the rest of the field we'll be having right now. Like as we see, I think that's car 115 in the background there, sorting out what they're doing. But it does look like they're closing up for a restart. I'm going to let you take this one to see if you can forgive your earlier mistake of the reprieve.
I'll try my best. So Mia's got the control. I don't know when she's going to go, really. The Porsche can kind of go when it likes because it's such a quick car and off that launch it's got so much traction. The Ferrari will be still waiting to spool up its turbos as Mia's gone and Josh was ready for it. He's gone with it, and I think they've dropped Reynolds just a tad. Pretty tidy to start off with. Nice gap, no wheel-to-wheel action really to speak of. As we come into turn 1, the brakes are going to be cold. It's a good chance to outbrake yourself and go spearing off, but they managed to keep it tidy up at the front, pointy into the field. hence why they're there. From what we can see around the back, it seems to be much the same story. And Mia Rose is just striding away, already half a second gap.
That is the Porsche and the wet for you.
There's the Porsche and the wet as they come over the line. It's up to a second, pulling a second in 2 corners, 3 corners, I guess. Curva Grande is in fact a corner. So that is a very good effort. We've got a couple of the AM drivers obviously keeping their nose clean, and they're well up the line. Pat Oliver, pretty sure he's not an AM driver, but
Definitely not an AM driver. That
definitely
is a
not an AM
fake AM driver. He should be a silver boy.
Oh, I think we just saw someone going spearing into the wall just in the back of frame there. Doesn't
as we
seem to
see,
have kicked off anything yet, though.
no, but we see Johnson here with a 15-second pen for that contact. I believe we saw into the Lesmo 2 on lap 1. I dare say that was for. And there's Steve Lewis, so obviously having a bad time in the Ferrari, and looks like that might have been the one that you saw hit the wall, or potential.
I think
Not an ideal way to go through the Lesmos there.
definitely not. Pro tip, don't crash into the walls. I did that in qualifying, got a very nice penalty as I speared back onto the track and took someone out. Completely accidental, but you know, a penalty was definitely due for that one. But yeah, it's a tough track, Monza. You just take a little bit too much curb, or just look at something wrong, especially in the Ferrari, which cannot take curbs to save its life, and you're pointing the wrong direction, especially through Ascari as well, with those big sausage curbs on the inside. You get too good of a turn in, then you're going to the moon.
Then you're going to turn out. Oh, that's one way of avoiding turn 1. Does the right thing though of cruising, does a little slalom through the safety barriers there. Because there is a little hot tip for those that are playing at home. If you do go blasting through there, the game will just give you I think it's a stop go 10 or something, because it's classed as cutting the track. So did the right thing there by backing off and doing the little slalom. But yeah, this is very interesting conditions at the moment. Obviously, because we had the safety car as well, they would have lost a bit of tire pressure, a little bit of temp. I don't know whether graining and that happens at that point in time or whatever it is, but yeah, these are going to feel like ice at this current time. I'm not sure how good the Lambo is either in the wet, but 3 AM drivers here in 7, 8, and 9. Well, sorry, that's a lie, because Oliver is a silver, so need to
Fake AM
change.
driver.
Yeah, fake AM driver in class there, but I expect Mr. Oliver to be putting the foot down pretty soon in that Beamer and trying to gobble up this Lambo ahead of him.
Definitely. I mean, my first wet race was the compulsory wet race last season at Nürburgring, which was an absolute whoa.
Whoa!
Has he managed to keep that car going?
No.
No.
Kept it out of the wall though,
He
so
did. He did indeed.
that's good.
Yeah. Well, last season I did the exact same thing. Managed to touch that wall with my nose when I shouldn't have. It was a bit of a spicy corner, but is that another Coca-Cola car?
That's the Coke Zero, isn't it?
Vanilla, maybe?
Or vanilla? Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure.
Coke
I
vanilla.
don't know. I don't drink
We've
Coke,
gotten
so
completely sidetracked. I don't remember what I'm talking about. Coke vanilla,
you
though.
hit a wall. That's what you were talking about.
Yeah. It was a bad one. It was the Lamborghini space program, Italian.
Oh,
Ooh, there's
and
cars
there's a
off.
Nissan there. Is there like
That's
a secret puddle at turn 1 that I'm not aware of?
It must be. There's a lot of cars going off there, both pro drivers and AM drivers. It's kind of catching everybody out.
Yeah, it's interesting to see, especially like, I mean, Reynolds was in P3, but now back down in P11 ish. So yeah,
Going
that's
fighting for
a big
P10
loss.
there as he gets the move done. No,
No, he gets
he's
it
got a
all
cut.
kinds of wrong.
Ooh, is he going to yield that one? I think he is, maybe? Yes, he
Yeah,
is.
he is.
Nice, some good sportsmanship there. And then he's going to say, right, you've had the freebie. I'm going to come and get you again.
Yeah, thanks for the tow around the Lesmos. Now you're mine. But yeah, this track looks like it's all kinds of crazy feels and conditions at the moment. I don't think the drivers really know what kind of a grip level or what their cars are capable of with this kind of rain and the amount of wet on the track. But Ashland trying to go around the outside into Ascari does the job well on the entry. I think that was
Nice
also a bit
move.
of smart play there by Vertigo, realizing probably doesn't need to fight for that position just yet. And there's still like an hour of this race to go. So first 10 minutes, definitely lots going on as Mia Rose decides, nah, I'm not going to hang around. Going to do a 55.5 for the fastest lap so far. Has a 3-second gap on Holmes at the moment. And then followed by J Vertigo, which was not the Vertigo we were talking about just moments ago. But Nipris is in P4. Skoda's decided, you know what, coming in for her first pit stop. And so is McCullough and Ashland Reynolds. I think he's doesn't like his tyres, or maybe did he have a bit of a more of a contact through that turn one, is why he's dropped down, coming from a bit of repair potentially. Not too
Yeah,
sure.
we'll have to wait and see if there's any steward action there. Yeah, I think it's. I mean, there's seems to be quite a few cars just outbraking themselves slightly and getting a bit messy through turn one, and it's easy enough to do. You know, you brake it 150 meters or around that. You brake a meter too late, you don't make it, and you brake a meter too early, and you're sitting there with 10 meters to go, dead stop. You know, it's a quite a precise braking zone with because of
I
how fast
Something
you're
tells
going.
me they're not going to be braking at the 150 in the rain.
No, definitely not. Definitely a dry marker. They're probably what 200? I don't know.
I
At
would
50
take a stab
meters,
and say 200. But
200 is probably a
I
good.
could be wrong. Anyone in the chat know the actual braking marker for these wet conditions? That'd be insightful. So that'd be nice to get that information. But yeah, you'll probably start seeing the first lots of pit stops actually getting kicked off. Probably the next sort of 10 minutes or so. They might be doing like half-hour sprint sessions now.
Now here's one for the new people, and this is something that I've fallen for in my first wet race. When it's a full wet race and you initially go out on wet tires, your pit MFD does not have tires selected. So when you're having a race like this one here, where you have to take a set of tires to do one of your stops, you come into the pits, stop on your box, they put the fuel in, and then you go about 3 seconds, and then you're looking at the game going, mate, what's going on? Like, it doesn't automatically select a new set of wet tires for you. You have to go in there, manually do it.
Sad times.
It is such sad times.
Much like sad times for Scott, who looks like he's got a speeding in the pits and has got an additional stop at 30.
That is mega sad. Though, to be fair, the lap times are not as quick as a usual race, so technically doesn't hurt as much as it usually does, but still painful.
It is still time lost that he didn't want to lose. So
100%.
unfortunately, I have to do another little trundle through the pits. Stop up and think about the naughty thing that you did. As you know, our parents used to say when we were kids, or still now. But Mia Rose here has decided, no, the mid 55s weren't good enough. With the 54s. As you see, Michael Babb has decided to join this in the 666 Porsche. I know that he was coming in just purely for the fun and antics of it again, because he does like the sound of that car once it hits 60, which I can't say. And it's wet conditions, so he'll actually be loving the hell out of this.
I drove the Porsche for Spa 24, and you couldn't pick a better car in terms of engine noise, because listening to that thing for the 8 hours that I was in the car, absolute music to my ears. Never got tired of it. Just, oh, it's so good. Just hearing that.
We'll win the Bentley. That's got like the best downships in history.
Definitely. Yeah, and the I think the Aston Martin probably squeezes into my top 3 as well. Just that. The thing's just aggressive on the inside of the car. It's just got fantastic noise. As we go on board with Babs, you cannot see diddly squat following behind someone with all that spray.
So you can see the spray. That's about it.
You can see that's about it. And it's hard enough seeing things when you get nice and close to people around Monza.
Bit of weaving down the back straight there. As we see the braking zone, of course, they get all crossed up. But Vauxhall there hooks up the braking and the entry into the parabolica, allowing the door wide open for Bab, who says, "Thank you very much. I'm going to put my foot down in the Porsche and see you on the next one."
Very tidy move, very tidy.
Yeah.
Just gotta put on that pressure, make them make the mistake, and then be in the right place to take advantage of it. And I'm pretty sure he started from the pits, so
Yeah,
up into P12 is a very good effort so far.
He's a fan of the old pit starts, or the non-quali starts. You could see that basically moved up halfway through the field, which is quite impressive. And obviously still got 2 stops remaining and still a long way to go in the races. So Porsche in the wet is doing the things that it loves to do. And got a little bit of a battle group of Ferraris behind. Words are hard. And I'm going to butcher them for the rest of the evening as we get a nice slide there from the Porsche. 1 Ferrari, 2 Ferrari, 3 Ferrari, 4. It's pretty good to Lesmos. But good to see that if this little Ferrari pack get a bit close as well, because there is that Porsche behind of Murphy as well, which normally moves a fair bit up the field, but I think that may have been a pit start as well, potentially. I'm not sure where he qualified.
Yeah, I did not see anything. Yeah, I didn't see whereabouts they were. But yeah, I just noticed, looking at the leaderboard, that Grant Beek has a 10-second penalty, which I would assume was for that first lap contact with, I guess it must have been maybe Leila Bell. Be my guess.
We are checking. Can confirm it is a lap 2 incident.
There you go.
So yeah, could have been lap 1, could have been on the safety car, I'm not sure, but yeah, just a 10-second penalty for an infringement against the stewards. Oh, as we see, interesting little movement there into the first corner there, but obviously overtook it and had to take the escape road. But at the moment, your current real-time leading amateur driver is Kano, doing a fantastic job, sitting currently P8, doing a fantastic job actually. As we see a car taking cutting for a second chicken there. Absolutely phenomenal to see these M-Class drivers up the end of the field.
Definitely trying to shed that M-Class badge as quick as possible.
Keeps his consistency up, because I know he's quite, pointing up towards the top 10, sort of almost fairly every race actually. So you never know, you might get tapped on the shoulders and go, welcome to the Pro-Am class. It's too goddamn good.
Prime's the place to be, I reckon. being a Prime myself, it's oh, here we go with the replay. This must be the lap 1 incident. Coming into Ascari, just outbrakes himself a little bit, just tags him, goes wide, holds the brakes nicely, and just watches as everybody goes around. And it's a really smart move that he didn't try to flick it back around or do anything silly, just waited for everybody to go. Just got to keep it really, really consistent.
Yeah, got to be predictable, which is probably the biggest thing.
Exactly.
And hats off. I mean, yes, there was an incident that occurred, but top effort for literally just sitting there and being predictable was all help for the rest of the field to get through that little section of it. It's quite safe there. So, props where props are due. Unfortunately, that it happened and the incident was there, but that is how you literally do it by the textbook in the sporting code. As I am just noticed that painter here, there's a bit of flappy bonnet going on here with his Beamer. So at some point we've had a bit of either nose to tail contact, or he's actually had a bit of pistol wall.
Just a bit of custom on the fly aero adjustments while driving. As we kind of cursed him a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, you just cursed the adjustment of the line there. But did well to not maintain to continue to the wall or something. But there's no shame in using extra bits of road if you're out of control, just to keep your car under control. So well done to still keep pointing in the right direction.
Especially when you go offline, off the track with the wet tyres, there's just nothing there. So keeping it just pointing in the right direction, not looping it, it's a bigger achievement than you'd think in the wet.
it's just an achievement across the board, wet or dry.
Driving is hard, ladies and
It
gentlemen.
really is. And then you got the fast guys that are like, no, it's not. Yeah, just go try and get this, and then you realise in 3 seconds. It's fine. It's fine.
You just got to take that apex a good 40 kilometers an hour faster. It's simple.
Yeah, it's easy to get lap time when it's talking about it, but getting the hand-eye coordination to follow up your thought process is quite a different task. And Marshall said, I've had enough of these tyres coming into the pits, going to tick off a mandatory. Not sure what that finishing speed was like there. It looked a bit spiky.
I think that was a perfect stop. Like he had it on the money right there, and in the wet, that is a mega achievement.
Absolutely nailed it.
I reckon, or we'll see him with a stop-go 10 or a drive-through, because if it was over, it'd be
seconds,
like the minimal amount.
On board here with
oh.
Brazil. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Hunting down Vetiga, Nissan versus Porsche. I'm not sure what the difference is here. I know that, as you said, the Nissan has that different gearing, and obviously you don't have that long of a straight every now and then, so the Nissan might have the advantage in terms of the distance between corners and that, but the Porsche is absolutely top tier in the wet, as you said. So this could be a very interesting, spicy battle to stay on board with, because that was at about 1.8, I think, at the start of that, but down to 1.3 second gap. So he is closing up ever so slightly.
Nip is piloting his Godzilla in a very, very nice fashion, the leading GTR in the field right now, after Redden's little oopsie that we saw him have earlier since he's pit. So this is going to be just a case of trying to use that GTR's advantages, I guess, to try and pull that gap in a little bit and just get into that slipstream, so it can really start to stretch its legs and try and get it overlap into a braking zone, force some action. As you go through turn 1, it looks pretty wild, but nice exit. It's just, you can't see anything.
I was about to say, like, nice turn 1, I'm like, how could you tell?
It's just,
there's just water everywhere.
There's water everywhere. It is truly bucketing down on the circuit today.
I mean, I know those that drive bonnet cam, which you're wrong, will be having a good time here, but they will be able to see quite clear. But those that are actually in cockpit for like the more versions, like the proper way you should be driving. Yeah, didn't actually see a damn thing through that first chicane there, so somehow still managed to actually gain time on Little Bit here, so that was quite impressive. But staying at that 1.3 second mark at this point. But I think it's just more that the Nissan just needs, as I said earlier, stretch those legs, use its Nissan grip technology to actually hunt down that Porsche. But these conditions is going to be a tough ask.
Definitely. I think the community as a whole, bonnet cam and cockpit cam users or dashboard cam users, I think we can all agree one thing. That bumper cam is the true sin of all sins.
Good old chase cam.
Chase cam? Yeah, chase cam is... I'd love to know if anybody in ACC uses chase cam.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there we go. Oh, look at this. Oh, are we playing Need for Speed right now?
Need for Speed Underground, here we go. I don't think Monza was in Underground, but there's a little shout out.
I don't think the GTR even was a thing when Underground came out. So, obviously the...
Oh, I think it was.
Well, the GTR something, yeah, not enough.
I think it was the 34, not the 35.
I remember my Underground. I had a Honda S2000 with all the upgrades. That was my car back in the day. I loved that thing. Wouldn't be caught dead driving a Honda in this game though. That thing is psycho for all the wrong reasons. Probably going to offend a couple people here, but I think Honda drivers are the pure definition of I can fix her.
Oh, I mean, it's an interesting car to drive, and yeah, shout out to Ferox here, 34 best Skyline. I'm with you. It has a little soft spot in my heart for sure, but I think that's just because of everyone's fascination with this thing at the time before they released the old Godzilla. But yeah, back on board here, Nicholas has lost a little bit of ground, but I dare say that's just due to traffic. Whereas Vertigo managed to navigate it a little bit easier than Nicholas has had to deal with here. But so they're both probably going to dive into the pits relatively soon. But yeah, Mia is absolutely on fire. Jan has said that literally from 10 minutes ago now, I just realised. But being 13 seconds up the road on P2 is absolutely insane, especially with still 40 odd minutes of racing to go.
Just noticed Josh Holmes, provisional P2, has hopped into the pits already. I don't know if that's, I don't think an undercut's really going to work in these wet conditions. It's just a case of keeping it on the track and maybe staying out of traffic maybe. But we'll have to see where they all come out after the pit stop, because these wet tyres can last a long time, because they're not under the same amount of stress as a dry tyre in terms of contact patch, and the lower temperatures and things like that, different compound. They just last a bit longer, and you don't have to pit for tyres, but obviously because of the mandatory stop, you have to pit for tyres and get them warmed up again. So it might be a strategy to just stretch it out while you've got those hot bedded in wet tyres, and then just come in, get your pit stops done. As Mia Rose tells me I'm wrong in pits right now from the lead.
Yeah, obviously, she knows far more than we do. But just could be doing a little 20-minute dashes now, who knows? As I said, it does take these a little bit longer to get up to their window, and the drive obviously because of the cooler conditions and all that kind of stuff. But I dare say that maybe some people might be looking at that weather radar and going, look, it is going to get a bit lighter. Maybe we try and save a set in case it goes to like a pretty six-month track. But I mean, we're still talking we're 42 minutes away from the race. You only got 30 minutes on that rain radar, so we were probably just delaying a little bit. Oh, as we see Ferrari there take the esports line and decides to cut the chicane there, but that's alright, we're still alright. Spidey currently sitting P3, yet to do a stop. Currently our Pro-Am leader, I'm not sure if that's the correct badge, Spidey doing a little bit faster than that, and again, things have changed over time, but just a shout out again to Mr. Michael Babb, started from the pits, currently running P2, so that's impressive to see. Going to be extending there to see where that comes out. But also Murphy up in P4, another silver class there. Nipris is currently leader on track and current silver class leader. Good to see that Mia Rose will take over the race again once they all the top 4 do their mandatory first stop, and everything gets reshuffled.
Yeah, definitely a strong showing. Got the fastest lap, qualified first. It could be a chance for a Grand Slam, all 3. But we'll have to see. It's a long race to go. We've still got 40 minutes. And so far, looking like everything's in her favour. P5 currently, just a bit of traffic to deal with. As I think Scanlon goes in the pits, so. Is that right? Yep. Scanlon's in the pits. So this is where we'll see where he pops out.
Well, Mia's already ducked through. We know that.
Miles away. She's a
different time zone. Vertigo is also ducked through.
Oh, and battling Holmes for provisional P2 right now. And it's going to be a tough one. So I think he has got the job done. Holmes must have lost a bit of time and not having as good of a run on the second set of wet tyres. And you have to try and use those Ferrari turbos to bring it back a little bit. It comes steaming into the braking zone. They're so quick. It's freaky to watch from the outside because you just know how glassy every surface is when you're driving one of these cars. You touch a little bit of the grass or a little bit of curb, and then you just go flying.
But it is fun. It does put a
It
grin on
is
your face every time you do it, though.
so much fun. A wet lap is great fun, and especially when you're able to get those moves on. I love, my favorite is when you got like a wet track and it's just gone wet. You pit a little bit early for wet tires, and you're just passing people who are still on slicks, and you just drive around the outside of them. Max Verstappen style.
A lot quicker.
Yep, definitely. It's probably the best part of racing in the wet. Just getting that tire strategy correct. The right tires at the right time.
We did a gamble of that on the Spa 24 hour actually, as a shout out to those conditions. Remember the rain was coming and we're like, nah, I'm like, nah, get me in early, I'll drive a couple laps on like bliss tires perhaps. And yeah, we went probably like 2 laps too early, I would say. So the first 2 laps on the wets, I was like, this is a bad idea. But then the rain hit, and then about a lap later, I was about 6 to 12 seconds faster than on track. I was like, yeah, no, we did good. We did good.
You gain it all back in bucket loads. And I was back in the old tire meta. We used to just max out the tire pressures and send it, and that was good for at least a second. Second of lap time, which is a little bit silly. Made the wet tire, getting those correct pressures just irrelevant. But
you need to get the correct pressures now though, because that doesn't work anymore.
It does not work anymore for anybody thinking to try it at home.
Do not try this at home. It
does not work.
Yeah, you definitely want to aim for those low to mid 30 psi range. Otherwise, you're going to have a bad time. As we're still on board here with Vertigo, 15.7 seconds behind Mia Rose. So more of a gap has presented itself since last time we checked. I think it was around 13 point something last time. We sort of saw an update on that regard, but Holmes still tacked onto the back now. I think the reason why Vertigo got around Holmes a little bit easier there was probably just because I think Holmes came in a little bit later for the stop. So I think the tyres weren't quite up to where he would like them to be, so whereas Vertigo had a bit more speed. But then again, I could be talking absolute rubbish, which is right, troops. I can't remember when Vertigo came into the pit either.
Neither can I. Let's just say it's the Porsche. The Porsche is good.
Porsche does good Porsche team. Considering top 4 out of the top 5 are Porsches, whereas Mia's decided that low 54s is the way to go with another fastest lap. You'll probably see that drop a few more times before the end of the race as well, especially with a bit more lighter fuel loads towards in this race taking into consideration.
There's some fine driving from Mia Rose tonight. It's just, yeah, I don't know how she does it. It's just crazy consistent, but also crazy fast at the same time. It's I wish I had one of those things, let alone both.
It's just what you do, but better. It's just what I do, but better as well. So the point is definitely a wall front aim just can get to, that's for sure.
I think the only thing I've got on Mia Rose is that I got more penalties than her last night, so that's what I'm doing better.
Is that technically better?
A night to forget, that's for sure. We don't need to talk about that.
It's okay, I won't let you talk it anymore. I'll just harass you about it later.
But yes, as we go back on board, Matt Nichols as he comes into the pits, and this is going to be for, I guess he was fighting with Vertigo, so this could be, I guess, a little bit on the tail of Holmes. We'll see where he comes out, but I think we're going to get ourselves a little bit of a spicy battle pack.
I was going to say, just as the camera gods are hearing my thought process, I was going to say, he's just coming into Ascari at the moment, and Nicholas is obviously stationary in the pits. So this could be interesting. Obviously, Vertigo's going to be well up to speed. Tyres are going to be well within their window. We have a stationary Nissan, still sitting there, biding his time, getting ready to get dropped off the jacks. So we see 2 more cars dip into the pit lane. I think one of them is Michael Babs, and the Nissan drops. I think Chris Murphy is the other Porsche behind there, with just a stab. Judging by the small details we have on our field at the moment, and the phone might be quiet, but Vertigo up to speed, blasting down the main straight. Nipris is just leaving the pits now, and it's not going to be enough. I'd say that's lost quite a substantial amount of
Yeah.
time now.
Whittaker's just got a lot of pace in the second stint. Really worked out the tyre pressures. Obviously, first lap is pretty aggressive as well, with Josh making those huge moves up the way. But yeah, as Whittaker's come back for round 2, the second stint. I would assume we'll try to extend this stint out a little bit, just to really take advantage of getting the right tyres at the right time, I guess, for the conditions that are presenting themselves.
I think also just ducking into that pits a little bit earlier. I mean, sometimes it's good to extend, but obviously if you get caught up in traffic or anything like that, sometimes it is better to just dive in and sort of consolidate your loss and hopefully get some clear track, which is what Whittaker has versus what Mitchell's doing. So I think just a little bit of a combination of a few things added all up to the gap we now see.
Yeah, the next car, the 33, going through a Ascari right now, so a huge gap there. I'm pretty sure that 33 car is yet to pit, maybe?
Yeah, possibly, but it's definitely a back marker.
Definitely. But yeah, that is a very good strategy play from Whittaker, just putting the car in the right place and really maximising the result of that.
So, as we see our fake amateur P. Oliver sitting in P5, so that's a mega drive so far for Pat there. Been able to jump up quite a substantial way through the field. Everyone looks like, except for Sykes, who hasn't done a pit stop yet. I'm not sure what's going on there, but running the extra long strap. But it looks like the rest of the field have done their first mandatory, and we are over halfway in the race. Only by a couple of minutes, but with a pit window remaining of 27 minutes. So not too much longer before we probably start seeing some of the field ducking into their second mandatory, probably with about 20 minutes remaining, I dare say. As we look at the little half-hour widget we have, we've got increased rain in the next 30 minutes. So if people were holding out for a different set of tyres for the last little bout, think again.
No dry weather here in Split Blue. As I said before, Split Blue stands for split water. It is very wet, and it will stay that way until the end, which is kind of interesting. We haven't had a full wet race in a little while.
Yeah, I was just thinking the last time we actually had a full wet race, but I don't know whether there was. I think maybe I had one at Suzuka, maybe a season or so ago, potentially.
Kyle Lamy, maybe? I think there was a couple splits had wet race at Kyle Lamy. There's also the night Nürburgring race in the rain.
Hey, that was horrible.
It was definitely fun.
It was an experience.
It was my first sprint race, that race. I'll never forget it, because it was going from, happiness in Rookie Town to rain and night. And I hadn't driven a race in either before, so it was a very big wake-up call. And very, very scary following people at such high speeds in the rain. At night time, you can't see anything at all. At least in the daytime, you can kind of see out the sides of the car. But yeah, just at night, you've got no headlights out on the side, so there's nothing to do. You just brake and pray that the person in front of you is braked at the right time.
And hope that you're not in enough of a tow that you're braking, and I can now see this to be 10 minutes before it used to be. But yeah, we've all had our initiations, I guess you could say, into Sprint Series. Mine was far, far long ago, back in seasons where we actually ran like team cars. If those that are playing home remember that, we actually had 3 cars of each manufacturer. And we actually signed up to a team across all the splits type thing, and yeah, that was my debut. I jumped into the Merc at Nürburgring and had a horrible time because I thought I knew how to drive, and then I was going to sprint and realised that I knew nothing.
Yeah, you have these wake-up calls every now and then. You have a truly shocking result, or something just doesn't go to plan, miss a pit stop or whatever, and you just got to learn from it. If you take nothing away from it, it's a wasted opportunity. But if you learn from it, at least you've got that. You won't make the same mistake twice.
learning curves are definitely the way to improve in this game. I still seem to make the same mistakes because, you know, I'm special like that. As we see a break, oh, that's going to be well avoided. I really thought with the fact that there was a lot of grass contact and break there from Babs that it was going to end up in the back seat of that BMW, but did well to not, you know, merge a Porsche into the rear of a Beamer, but that definitely was a brown flag moment for Payno there, but very well done to not have that turn into sadness. As you were saying earlier, this is absolute an ice rink out there beyond the tarmac. So one slight variation, as we just saw, can end in absolute disaster, but that one was well avoided.
Yeah, I was clinching, definitely. I brought the right pair of pants to the combox tonight of the brown variety. It's just, oh my gosh. It's real spicy out there, and Babs is pushing, trying to get past this BMW.
You know, you have also cursed Chris Murphy now, because he was having fun, and then, you know how you said that when they start on wets they don't select the tyres, and he said he puts dries on? Yeah, you did it to him.
Yes. Sorry, mate. Sorry, Chris. That one's on me.
That is rough, as we see Steve Lewis here on the back of the Porsche of Babs, being all crossed up through the Scari complex, and that has allowed this opportunity to take place. Oh, careful Babsy, done well there to not, I was going to say almost moving out of brakes, by the way. Look, could have just been camera angle there, but Steve Lewis saw it happen and sort of gave him enough racing room there to get them both safely through turn 1, turn 2 complex. Babs is in a hell of a battle here between these three. It's a nice little junction of cars, but obviously the Porsche here taking the outside line into the second chicane. Payno decides that he's not going to make the apex of either of them and takes the escape route, and loses 2 Aussies. And Babs will look a bit of the fear in there. Maybe hitting the grass earlier on really sort of shook up Payno there, so you have to get back in your rhythm, mate, shake it off, and keep going, move forward.
Definitely being off that racing line is a bit wetter. There's sometimes a bit more grip because of the unrubbered surface, but yeah, just misjudged that braking zone, made the right decision to just go straight on rather than causing an incident by trying to contest, I guess. And that's given Babs and Lewis a freebie, basically, so they can continue their fight elsewhere. Ferrari can catch back up to that Porsche.
I know it's a bit sort of, I guess, frowned upon, right? This is sort of, you know, once I'm in the chair, in the rig, behind the wheel, if I see that, I actually thank them. Like, I'm like, thank you for the freebie, bye. And that's probably the most toxic thing I can do. But, I mean, I just can't help it. It's just one of those things.
You just don't want to get involved with it yourself, you know. You just gotta, you know, you gotta keep an eye on the context, especially around Monza. It just seems to be like a breeds outbreaking yourself, contact, what have you. I think there's so many moves made in last night's race, for me at least, that were just getting around people who are facing the wrong way or having a moment. Because like the curbs unsettle the car. We've got I feel like the grass is extra slippery. I don't know what it is with this Italian grass. It's just a bit spicy to drive on if you touch it. So there's a lot of good chances to make a mistake and kind of have an accident.
I think it's also just the fact that Monza itself hasn't got that real side on the 53s is now the pace. Stop. No, I mean don't stop, but like stop.
She's got like a never-ending bag filled with pace. Like
yeah, every lap just drops like a couple kilo out the side door, you know, just to get the extra competence.
Who put these ballast plates in my car? I'm just gonna throw them out the window.
Oh, look at that! I found another one. But yeah, I think with Monza, as I was saying, like I think because it seems like such a simple track, even though it's only got like 11 turns, and it's just your full throttle probably is something along the lines of like 70% of the lap or whatever the hell it is here. You just forget how important the actual slow stuff is, because obviously the straight speed and when you are allowed to pedal down, that's the real easy part, and that's where you think you're going fast. But you need to make sure you hit your apex. You need to make sure you hit those braking zones. Otherwise, your lap time will be absolutely abysmal, and you'll end up in the wall or in the grass or into someone. And yeah, I think Monza's got a little bit more of a complicated task before you actually do it.
Yeah, definitely. And the thing with Monza as well is like when you're setting up your car, you know, it's a power track. You want to make sure that you've got little downforce, you know, as minimal drag as possible to try and maximize those big straights and acceleration zones. As Spidey's getting alongside here. Oh, and it's gonna Lamborghini just drifting over. Oof, cuts his nose off a little bit, but no contact made. Just kind of drifting in the middle. Oh, Spidey thinks better of it. Get you next time, I think he's thinking to himself. Yeah. Like,
so I told you, there's that extra ballast plate removed again.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I mean, she must have had a chat with the guy with the bot box, paid them whatever Mante paid Bathurst organisers.
AID, PayPal, you know, all those things, Afterpay,
Steam gift card.
Yeah, whatever sort of is the payment method of choice at the time. But yeah, Spidey definitely looked a bit more racy here on the Pushstruck here and the Lambo. That does seem a bit more unsettled than the Ferrari at the moment. But yeah, it did look like the Lambo did slide across the nose there of the Ferrari, so I dare say that would, I mean, if it was me, it would probably annoy me slightly enough to really put the blinders on and go, you know what, now it's my turn to attack and I want that Aussie. But, let's see what Spidey does over the next little stint.
Surprisingly, this Lambo's got some good legs over the straights. Ooh, as he's getting up alongside, they're going to go side by side all the way to turn 1. Or is... Yeah, that's a smart move. Going for the pits is a smart move. If you're stuck behind someone, can't easily overtake, just get into the pits, get that pit stop done. Go for the undercut, probably getting more time that way. Which is a bit of a shame for us watching at home, because it would have been nice to see them go side by side into turn 1, but oh well, we'll just have to wait until later in the race when they're all out of pit stops.
So we'll be ticking those last mandatories off in the next few minutes, I dare say, because you don't really want to do the last 10 minutes here on a brand new set of tyres, because by the time they get up to 10 and up to speed, you're basically going to be crossing the line. So I dare say, within the next sort of 2 minutes, you have everyone duck in.
I hadn't thought about that actually. Yeah, that's a good point. You do want to get those tyres warmed up for that last 15 or so minute sprint, I guess. Probably 15 minutes would be the absolute minimum you'd want to pit with, I'd guess.
Yeah, there's about 16 minutes on the window remaining for your mandatory tickos, but I mean, I know in the dry your tyres take about 2 to 3 laps. 2 laps probably more accurate, whereas probably the wet tyres in this condition and temp will probably take a few more than that to get right into their real comfy window. I would think that it's comfy because it's new tyres. But yeah, I don't think you'd want to come in like right on the final of the window here. But you definitely want to pick it up there rather than later. But Stevie Lewis here, just going to give him a shout out. Doing a fantastic job to sit basically on the rear bumper of Babs there in that Porsche. Hasn't really fallen off, and I know there is quite a pace between the two drivers as well. Obviously still the Class 2 the Pro Class, but also know that Bab used to be in the Pro Class, so I know that man has got some pace to burn when he is putting some seat time in. So hats off to Stevie Lewis here for doing a phenomenal job in that Ferrari.
It's rough. It's a tough car to drive around here too, the old Ferrari. I think they've made it better over the last patch with the changes that they made. But Vedica is out of the pits. Oh, and both Vedicas. And Vedica is in the pits. Yeah, the Ferrari. I think the Ferrari's had some changes in the latest update, which made it a bit better around here. But still, it is the same car that it was back then. Does not like curbs, and Monza is all about those curbs, so being able to keep it tidy around here in the wet is a great achievement. Running currently P7 before the pit stops, it's a mega job.
Showcase in front of us here. So it will be interesting once the last few drivers here tick off their mandatory, how the field does settle in and who is actually in the last battle, so 15-minute window. As we see Pat Oliver here dive in.
And Holmes, this is for provisional P3, P2. This is the battle pack, I guess, for P2, 3, and 4.
I think it's safe to say that they are off in the distance. So yeah, battle pack road from second to fourth, and then another one forming from like 5, 6, 7 to the finale. So it could be interesting these last 15, 20 minutes of the race here. Babs is still out in fact, and Miller's still chasing. And Pano not far behind either. That's a pass, I've never known anyway information.
Yeah, there's a lot of the grid has gotten their pit stops done. So you go on board with Appreciado, chasing down Vertigo, and this is going to get spicy. Oh, he's going for having a look, showing the mirrors, just saying, hey, I'm here.
Good cheeky, hello, I'm here, did you miss me?
Just keep an eye on me, mate. I'll be sending it very shortly.
Yeah, I'm just going to lick this stamp, and then I'm going to send it to you.
Please sign here, here, and here. Okay, thank you.
And second delivery, and that's the send on. So yeah, I think he's going to try and set him up in the turn one here. Does a much tighter one, it's a bit more crossed up. I don't think it's going to happen this time. I think he was hoping for a bit more traction on the inside there, but there's a little puddle that said, no, I'm going to take all your traction and you can just try and see what you can do with it. Sitting in the toe here, I don't know what the speed is going to be coming into the braking zone, but obviously he's going to need to brake a little bit earlier just for the speed difference, and does so. Pulls it up nice and tight, hits the first apex, very nice, hits apex number 2. Doesn't go out onto the ripple there, which is probably ideal for their sake. That would be absolutely ice in the race, but doesn't do anything yet. But these two literally nose to tail for the better part of half a lap so far, so let's see what happens.
Just showing the nose again into the second chicane. Just making sure that, the person in front's still awake. Try and get in the head. Move around. Keep things exciting, and just really good composure from Vertigo, just to keep it on the straight and narrow, not driving his mirrors too much, and just chill.
It is one skill to actually do system right times, knowing someone takes that ball, and just the blinders on in the background with the heat breathing down the back unit, and another to actually race that close to someone. So this right here is two different skill sets that every sim racer needs to sort of adapt and maintain. I mean, I'm not the best at chasing someone, being too close to someone for too long, because I sort of get a bit impatient, but Appreciado here, obviously, got a bit more patience than myself and Morgan. This is just an awesome camera, it's really back really in here at the hunting down of Appreciado in the background. It's good to see like the ebb and flow of like where they are faster or slower, braking points, acceleration points. And you see a bit of a squirm there from Appreciado's car. It's probably going to allow just a little bit more of a breather coming into turn 1. I think that 4/10 gap is going to be slightly extended out now. Now we're about to do a second.
Just about a second, yeah. So he's going to be out of the toe, not getting that benefit of the slipstream into turn 1 down the back straight. So definitely not what you want is.
In the Porsche.
Yeah, that's Chad Pethbridge there, just finding some new parts of the track to explore. Definitely not what you want to be doing.
Yeah, it is an option. It's probably not the greatest of options, but we'll have our little oopsies. I mean, we can't drive perfectly every lap, unlike front runners seem to be able to do that. But that's a skill I have yet to obtain.
We are but mere mortals.
Exactly.
Dying is definitely a pretty common theme at Monza. Just you got to have little to no wing, low drag, but then you've also got to have good speed through these slow sections, which is just made harder by the way that this car is set up. It's a catch-22. You You want to be fast through the slow stuff, but you don't want to be slow through the fast stuff. So you got to compromise with your setup.
To pick one or the other, I think. I think Monza, you can sort of kind of find a nice little balance, and then it might be good to, say the Lesmos, but horrible through Ascari, and I don't know whether we'd rather have one better than the other, but I think I'd prefer to have Ascari be better than the Lesmos. But as you see here, Law's right on the back of Piper, had to hit the bankers a little bit earlier, because that Bentley has got such a wide rear end that looks very good in the mirrors and the screen extending. So that was interesting to see, but McLaren versus Bentley speed down the front straight. I'm not sure what the difference is, or what kind of toe McLaren will be getting 4/10 as they cross the line. Let's see what right into turn 1. Still water spraying all over the screen like mad. It hits the braking zone nice and early, pulls up nice and quick. Actually, the gap sort of maintained itself for a while, except for through like the main part of the corner. It definitely looked like it had a little bit worse than the exit than the McLaren. I think the rear just squirmed on the amount of torque that car generally has, so that doesn't help with its lights.
Not at all. It's a pretty spicy car. And also steering wheel on the wrong side, which can put some people off if you're not used to it.
It's funny you say it's on the wrong side. I mean,
it's on the right side.
It's on the right side, but yet you're so used to it being the wrong side.
I've driven one left-handed left-handed car in real life, and it was odd. It was a weird feeling.
Mia, can you stop finding the ballast plates, please?
I think she's run out of ballast plates at this point. It's just cutting chunks of the car off.
Just taking chunks of the fiberglass and cages that out of the drive.
Probably getting pretty noisy there. She probably just cut a hole in the passenger footwell in the floor of the Porsche there. Not sure how they would do for the aerodynamics, but it seems to be working.
I was going to say, it's probably more of a hindrance than an advantage there.
Yeah. Preciado still chasing down Vinegar, keeping it within touching distance. Brought it back to about 6/10 through the last sector, so I think he's probably just close enough to get a little bit of the toe. But yeah, it's so tough to follow here, especially in the wet. Got the aero wash and then the little car wash with the spray coming off the car in front as well.
Yeah, I think that's why you saw there Preciado ducked like the far inside of the track there, just to probably get more of an insight of the track ahead. So, as I see, a really nice sort of over-under there on Piper potentially. So McLaur's definitely got the better run, and he's going to be on the outside of the long sweep of Curva Grande, but we'll probably have potentially the nose into the brake. No, the Bentley's just got the power. Look out.
Power. That is, no, my V8 and turbos are bigger than your V8 and turbos.
Yeah.
How about next time?
Yeah. Bentley thing. Yeah, well, Mia stopped from moving the current to the car now.
Well, Mia's already gotten rid of 2 cylinders and it seems to be working pretty well, and the turbos too. So, yeah, V8 twin turbo, less than flat 6.
I didn't expect that engine to see if it actually is the flat 6.
Whatever it is, Mia is doing a fantastic job, just finding more and more pace as the race goes on. The next 10 minutes, seeing the rain get a bit heavier, so the end of the race is going to probably get a little bit slippy as people not worn tyres, but I guess tyres with a bit less pressure set up for this kind of middle stint where it's been a little bit lighter, not much, but just a little bit.
So the only one at the moment that can actually sort of get some pressure out is actually Babs. He's the only one that hasn't looked like he's got a mandatory left, so he's only got 4 odd minutes of the pit window open to actually tick that stop off. But could be having to actually put some pressure there just to help him out in these last dying minutes. But I'm not sure how that's going to be the advantage, the amount of time left, as we see that the Bentley takes a bit more of a wider exit, and once again McLaren tries to go on the Oh, they've got a far better exit. They've already got the job done well before the turn 3 further roundup.
That was a very nice exit from McLaren there in the Gauze. True, like really, really classy exit. That was nice to watch. Just the Bentley couldn't do anything about it. Big V8 turbos or not, it was just stuck. I don't know if there was a TC intervention, maybe just gassing it up a little bit too early and getting a bit of power sucked away by the TC, but that was a mega move. And it looks like
if that was planned. Sorry, seeing how Piper and Bentley reacted the lap before, if that was planned on the next lap to try that over under again, hats off to you, sir. Well done.
It's a magnificent racecraft. It's last standing non-pitter. Mr. Bav comes in for his final pit stop, and that has our order so far. We've got Rose, Vediger, Holmes, and Nicholas. That's definitely a gap that you can catch in a few laps if you're really, really pushing.
I wouldn't count Holmes out of chasing Vediger down. I mean, 2.5 seconds, not the worst gap in the world. I mean, doesn't it take a slight brief of lapse in concentration and it's all over. So, I mean, there's still plenty of time in this to try and get a move done. As we see on the track, there's the difference, basically, entry to exit over the second chicane. So it's not the worst gap in the world.
You can see, well, you can't really see the car, but you can see the rain light, you can see the spray, and you know that's your target. You're looking at your little gaps widget, you know that the next position is for position, and you're going to be pushing absolutely as hard as possible to try and get up the road and get there. So we jump to Appreciato, just managing to pull away nicely from McLaws.
Too bad he's got a TT.
Ooh, yes, that will be for track limits.
Yeah, unfortunately, we'll have to serve that one till the end of the race because there's probably about 4 laps remaining, and I think the game gives you 3 laps to serve. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to do a little trundle through the pits. But yeah, that was definitely for track limits, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a bit of a shame. Appreciato having a pretty decent race in P7. But like we said earlier, it's something that you'll learn from. Just not push those limits as much, especially in the wet with the way that the microsectors work for the track limits. You could pull well out and just get a track limit anyway, because just the way that the track has evolved from lap to lap. Sometimes it's pretty tough. I feel like it's a bit more sensitive sometimes in the rain, and some other times it's less sensitive. You can get away with bloody murder. So yeah, just a rough one.
Does happen, unfortunately, but shout out to this guy again, as you see on screen, Michael Babs. Did start from the pit, currently P11, but could be in the top 10 after Appreciato does serve the DT, who's in the pits as we speak. Which Bab will get the position as he comes around the power bike, and now realize how close that gap actually was.
Yeah,
but
very
Mia
close
Rose got an
indeed.
absolute abundance of track space between her herself and P2. Appreciato doing the slow trundle through the pits, unfortunate. Got the DT, but now you've got another 4 chances before you get another one, or 3 chances plus another one if that's the case for resetting your track limits. But that is hurtful after a pretty stellar effort for the other 65 minutes of this race.
Definitely, it hurts bad when stuff like that happens. It's yeah.
Oh, it's gone from bad to worse. Yes,
no.
Got to stop by 30.
No. Oh, Appreciato. That is so sad to see. Oh, that is.
You ready for my pun for the night? When it rains, it pours.
Oh wow. That was good. I applaud you. That's a good one.
Yeah, there's the dad joke for this evening. I managed to slot it in there towards him, but
I was starting to get worried, to be honest. What's going to happen?
It's one of those things, you got to bide your time for it. You got to just let it stew and then naturally present itself, and bam, there it is. But Mia Rose here, start to finish, basically has not put a foot wrong He did it in quali, he only set basically 1 or 2 quali laps, and decided to set the rest up in pits. Yeah, literally, I don't even know how far up the road now we're in for the first time marker to tell us is lots, still lots. Yeah, she's gone through Lesmo 2 as Vediga here is only on the way down to the second chicane, so that is quite some time, 27.3 seconds apparently, so that is insane.
That is a bonkers effort. Josh Holmes dropped back to about 5 seconds now, so probably not going to be able to make up that sort of time in 3 minutes unless something terrible happens. But yeah, that's a strong showing from the Pro-Am driver. P3 again, second podium. You do it once, it might be, you know, a bit of luck, you know, good race. You know, everybody has their day in the sun, but in the rain as well, just a strong showing. Might be.
Welcome to silver class.
Welcome to silver. Yeah, I don't want to call for promotions. You know, no, we're going to see how the rest of the season goes. It's a long season still ahead of us. We got 4 races left to go.
3 races? I can't remember.
Oh, one of those.
There's another bit of sadness there for our leading AM driver. He has just picked up a DT, so I think that's going to definitely put him well behind Kano there. So it is sad to see, but obviously track limits in the wet are a thing that all drivers, I guess, some love to see, some hate to see, but unfortunately it just is the way it is.
Definitely, it hurts the most in these short races, because if you're doing a 6-hour endurance race, you know, getting through that with no DTs, like that's an achievement. Or in the case of the 24, like you'd be amazed if your team got through a whole 24-hour race without a DT.
We did.
That is some really good driving.
Did you hear about, I think it was a leading silver car, I believe, went through the entire 24-hour without getting a single track cut?
That is insane.
Oh, that's too wide on the exit of the second chicane. That could have ended in tears as they're still going into Lesmo 1. This is Begg and Oliver here. So Oliver's way down less. I think it was a late pit stop. So maybe there was also a bit of contact there, but that is definitely some nose to tail racing here.
Definitely, and front Begg suffering from a severe case of floppy bonnet right there. So that front end is probably not enjoying life right now. So just trying to stay in that wake and maybe get back past Oliver, but Oliver does seem to be clearing off the silver driver, not amateur, the silver driver, to make things clear. Making a good move on Big there.
We've got in our last minute and 15 in the race. I'm just trying to see where Mare Rose on track comes in turn 2 there, into turn 3 now. So I dare say this will be the final lap. I don't think we're going to, I mean Amir's quick, but I don't think she can do like a minute 15 lap. Unless she cut lots of corners in a section of track. But I dare say this is the penultimate lap here. This is going to be done and dusted as Mia comes up to some lap traffic here. But you can basically say this was almost done and dusted 50 laps into the race because of the pace that she has presented all day, or all night I should say, quali and on race trim, as well as 12 or 15 fastest laps or something throughout the night. Yeah, definitely doing the absolutely insane OTOs. We need to get these blue flags out of the way and let the race leader through. Oh, that was a bit interesting.
That was getting close. Racing for position, these two, so I can see why they'd be reluctant to get out of the way, but the rules are the rules, and you have to make your way when it's safe to do so. So you have to get out of the way. And he does it right there. He's just got to be careful. He might lose the position. Pulls out too early, but I think he's done it in a nice way to minimize the loss there. Some good awareness right there. Yeah. As Mia Rose comes around the final corner, there's just the last little bit of the parabolica to go and a little run to the finish line, and she is locked away another Grand Slam race. fastest lap, pole position, and P1. Absolutely amazing job.
Yeah, well done, Mia. Another stellar effort. Once again, as Vertigo now entered the parabolic for the last time. Started drive once again, started P2 and he's going to finish P2. So Porsche's is too strong today. Doing some interesting camera angles there, Mr. Hampton on the wheels. But once again, Vertigo, lovely job in P2. Holmes going to take the P3. I think that's actually the Nicholas in P4. Doing a good job. The gap at the moment between each driver is pretty substantial, so I don't think there's any real pressure or fight in line for the P8. So P4 has done well here. McCullough come around the final corner for P5.
McCullough's had a very quiet race. Definitely a good effort to just silently sneak up to P5 there. Haven't seen anything.
And second in class.
Yeah, second in class is a very good effort. As Ashley Vinegar coming home for P6. McLaw's chased home by Ben Piver in the Bentley. And Spidey for P9 and third in class. A little flash of the lights to say, ooh, I did it.
Nice recovery drive there, Spidey. I know you got taken out lap 1 and had lots of damage in repaired. To come back to P9 is mega. Babsy, pit start strat. And top 10 finish. Nicely done. Going through P11. Can't say that. Oh, there's a nice big power slide across the line into the wall to get the job done. Steve Lewis in P12. Light the belt. Got caught up in that incident on what the safety car was. Unfortunate that happened, but nice recovery drive to basically the top half of the field, so nothing wrong there. And unfortunately, Frustrum got a stop go 30, probably trying to serve his DT.
But Pano's already finished the race, so that means that Frustrick is a lap ahead, and I think the time penalty won't mean anything. I think he will still finish P14.
You have to find out.
Yeah, we'll have to see on the results screen.
Indeed, but that is a wet Monza for Split Blue complete. Wet quali, wet practice, wet race. Once again, that's the Grand Slam for the wet for the everyone sitting at home. We're just waiting for the servers now to tick over so we can get the final results. But having a quick scan of that, the pro class is obviously won by Mia Rose and followed by Vediga. But the servers are doing server tings. Here we go. Timetable, please. Thank you. So overall, Mia Rose, Vediga, and then followed by Holmes. They're your top 3 overall. Going to the silver class, Nipris over McCullough and McLaws. And we've lost it again because the session has ended. Now it's gone back. Good old features. Into the primes, we've got Holmes, Horseborough, and Appreciato rounding that podium out. And then amateur Sykes over Payno and Frustruck. So obviously that time panel did shuffle the order.
It did. It did too.
But yes, that is the first race of this evening's festivities done and dusted. And we are joined in the box with Neil. How are you? If Neil is there. Maybe. Maybe not.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm looking forward to Sprint Red. Wonder if we can have that wet track that you guys just experienced in Split Blue. We'll wait and see how the red split goes tonight if it is wet. That was a sensational run by Mia, wasn't it? Nearly 30 seconds to second place.
Yeah, I think excessive of 30 seconds at the end there, but just steadily increased the gap from start to finish there. So that was a mega drive on her part. So yeah, good to see.
Yeah, back in the winner's block. Winner's step.
I don't think she ever left it.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So I haven't been keeping up to date with the blue, to be honest, but I know that they had not a bad run there at the Bathurst 12 hour. There's a few little hiccups, but obviously they should be happy to keep on front in the front, I guess, in this sprint series in the blue split.
We have crossed over to Split Red, who is currently in qualifying. The two Sneak-Eye brothers, P1 and P2, doing low 52s at the moment. We've got a bit of a damp track, I believe. Is it damp track or breezy track?
I think it's a wet track, but beautifully sunny, so the track is really going to ramp up.
Yeah, I think I saw a bit of spray coming out of the back of there, one of the cars there, Sean, so I guess there is a little bit of moisture in some parts of this circuit, but it's clear skies out there, so maybe we might see it drying up, hopefully.
It must be the dry line, yeah, because we've got a bushel here with dry tyres on. Ooh, as we go wide, that is not what you want to see.
Yeah, maybe not quite dry enough through the Lesmo there. Could have got a little bit of moisture in there where it's a little bit shady.
Yeah, a little bit spicy there.
Well, as much as I would love to hang around, unfortunately I have to go do father duties. So I'm going to leave you two gentlemen to continue chatting on about the future of our affiliate Split Red and the race ahead. But thank you for tonight, and I'll see you guys next time in the comms box.
Cheers, Noski. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good call, Sean.
No worries, have a good one, guys.
Thank you. Well, I wasn't planning on staying. I'll keep in just for now until Mia Rose joins us. Romeo Wynn must be enjoying the podium festivities and the champagne right now.
Yeah, she might come in here a little bit sticky and a little bit smelly of champagne sprayed all around her. And talking about the champagne celebrations, Mia has just chopped into the booth. Welcome, Mia. What a great win that was in the wet.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm about as wet as what that track was during that race. Some might say it looks easy, but it never does trying to keep a car consistently under control for 70 minutes in the wet in this game. So, but very happy that I pulled the pace stick out and waved it around a bit. So.
Sean and I were saying you were pulling ballast plates out the car and throwing them out the window as you were going. Yeah, that was some mega driving, just fastest lap. P1, quali, Grand Slam, mega job.
Yeah, I think I threw the sandbags out from Kyle Army last week, so that's good.
Very nice. Well, I'm going to head off. Thank you very much, everybody, for having me, and we'll see you next week.
Definitely. Nice call, Sean, and yeah, we'll definitely see you next week. Alright, so just under 2 minutes remaining, Mia, and the track's still a little bit wet with a bit of sunshine. Tricky conditions out there, as you can see some of the drivers obviously on slicks, but trying to find that little bit of dry line to get the pace in. It's starting to creep down. As Sang just answers that call with a 1 minute 52.1. Gets it on top of Sonicus.
I do wonder what the split is between wet and dry, because with my knowledge of the game, even if it looks there to be a dry line, if the track still says it's wet, the track is wet. So unless people are running slicks with about 32 starting PSI starting in them, I think a lot of people are heavy on the wets. But you know, it's a bit weird. This is one of the quirks of ACC. It can be sunny, but the track can really slowly dry out, and you can see this happening right here. Well, I say that the track is now to depth, so everyone should be on their final laps. So let's hope that we get some blistering times before the end of this qualifying.
Yeah, and after the male modelling of Sonicus over in the States last week, they're back on track, and they're both second and third, and Sang's just trying to hold on here and seeing if he can keep this pole position, because I think the Sonicus brothers will be hot on his heels to try and grab pole after missing the last week's round. Sang's still leading the championship on 437 points over JP on 290, so he's got a nice healthy margin, Sang. But Corey Sweek went up the order, up into third position on 249, and he's just a few points in front of Ison, who we were talking about, the AM driver, who absolutely blitzed into Kyle Army along with Ricky Satria last week. So we'll see what they can do here tonight if they're on the grid. But here comes Sang around the final corner on Parabolica, and he gets it under the 52s with a 51.9. That's not a bad lap.
Interesting thing over this notice too is they are on dry, so I thought it'd be on the wets, but you can see here the pace from these dries is pretty good because Sonicus could probably pip out Sang here through Parabolic to the final corner. He's 4 tenths up. He's going to get pole here by at least 2 tenths if he keeps it delta. He does. Out of the corner to the start-finish line he comes. 51.7. Now,
yeah, nice reply. Here comes his brother.
On the other hand.
Just
all the way.
Getting it a bit wide. You can see there's probably fighting a very fine line there, Mia, as you were saying, that they just sort of flipped over that last lap, didn't they, into it from wet to damp. So the guys that were on the slicks probably benefited, but they probably would have had a narrow line to stay on as well to try and get those times, which we obviously saw from Sang and JP then.
Yeah, Sweet's going to come at the final corner. He won't improve, but if you look at that scoreboard, it looks a bit familiar to last time we were here. It's McLaren lockout out the top, bar a BMW, so I replaced Sang with me, and that would be season 14 all over again.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like Kailami last week, though, too, Mia. We've got, obviously, with Sonicus added in, but we've got the Johnson & Johnson crew again that's definitely had some Band-Aids being thrown around last week at Kailami. They were getting into one another. And then, obviously, Corey in that Ferrari as well. And I'm just trying to find there. I can't see the talk of the town of Enzo Ison and also Satria on the list there, those AM drivers that absolutely killed it last week and the opening part of this Simrigs Sprint Series. So off on other duties, I'd say, tonight.
Yeah, they were marked out as absent for this round, so they could be either focusing on something else or seeing how wet Monza is this week and decided against it. Yeah,
as it looks like here at the moment, though, it's obviously a fast track. It looks wet to me on that footage that we're having a look there, those images coming through, but cloudy skies for the first 30 minutes, but as we know, that can change at any time. And look at this nice grid order we've got here. As you said, a couple of McLarens and the BMWs in there, and that famous Toyota Castrol livery in P4. Doesn't that look nice?
It's a very colourful grid. Could be a little bit less white on the grid, but you know, a Castrol Tom the Super livery on a McLaren, he's somehow done it well and has kept it for season after season. And we go further back. There's
Sonicus and Sweet, and then we've obviously got Keys in that Lexus in position 7. That's a good run. And then Samuel, we like him in that Ferrari there in 8th position. Obviously, he'll have some things to say in this race. I think Walsh and Palmer in that nice, well brought out Porsche. Probably the best on the grid, I'd say. And then we go to Small and Thistlewaite's there in that Nissan. He loves his Nissan, so obviously standing strong in position 12, Bartlett. And then we've got another Nissan of Mike Reel, so he'll be very happy to be following his fellow Nissan. Bendich, Rochford in the Lamborghini, and then we've got Vinny in the BMW and Kidman in a McLaren. Then we go on to position 19 of Butkovas and Chalmers in that BMW. That looks pretty cool as well, so we're sure we might see a bit of Chalmers throughout the evening. And then we got Bushel and Kong. And then we'll go down to the back of the grid. We have got Herbert in the McLaren as an AM driver, and then I'm not too sure who may be that last car in 24th position. Jensen. Okay, so that's actually a nice looking Mercedes as well, that colour. So Jensen up the back of the grid. So what's your thoughts here, Mia? Will Sonicus hold off Sang in the lead up into the first chicane and really set a stamp on this proceedings of this race? A 70-minute race actually tonight, a little bit longer than what we're used to, and with those two mandatory stops. So what do you think? What's going to happen in this first corner?
This honestly, reminds me of season 14 Split Yellow. Myself in the BMW and a tablet in a McLaren who got pole. I would say that my best guess would be that that'll be an exact replica of that, because it'll be Sonicus will drive ahead a bit, with how good the McLaren is here, and then Sang will catch up slowly and slowly, and then just get him at the right time and then run away from it. So, but I could be wrong. This could be possibly a rain-affected race later on in the race, which will throw everything out the window. But knowing these people, they're probably going to keep the pace no matter what condition.
Yeah, I think some of the guys may have seen that wet race late in that, or like in the Split Blue race previous to this one. So maybe a few of them chucked on a few wets and did a couple of wet practice if they could, because as we know, that 2 mandatory stops. So if the wet weather does come in, they obviously want those wet weather tyres sorted for them and ready to whack them on. But I'm looking also at the two Johnsons and Johnsons. They're not brothers, they're not related, I believe, but I tell you what, you could have sworn they were related last week, but they were biffing and barging one another. And but they're right behind Sonicus and Sang, and we've seen how aggressive they are, wanting to move up. So they may want to prove their point here tonight at Monza as well.
Well, it is Monza after all, and we do have a particularly tight, particularly slow turn 1-2 complex. So Split Blue earlier, they made it through that first section cleanly, but they couldn't get through Ascari. But it being dry, and a little bit more aggressiveness here into turn 1, seeing it's dry. This could be a bit of a carnage fest to start off this 70-minute race. I
was going to say all the prayers that Cameron wanted during Bathurst while he was sitting in the dry commentary booth of rain during our Bathurst 12-hour a couple of weeks ago. He's got his prayers answered, because it looks like on our graphic in the next 30 minutes, rain is predicted on this circuit here at Monza. So that Nissan will be a handful in the wet as well.
Well, if I just say it like I predicted it, then I say I predicted it. So they've got, what would it be, about 28 minutes of dry running before the heavens open up. It won't be a big opening, but it doesn't matter now. We're about to go green here. The last race of tonight. They're pretty even there, a bit of a gap at the back of the field. We're now green. Oh, what a beautiful jump. The other Sonic has got absolutely slaughtered by one of the Johnsons there. He'll probably get slaughtered by the other one, and Sweet as well, but at the front, Page will probably get second in the first corner. We might have a bit of a carnage here. There's a bit of tap at the back there with the Nissan. They get through. Sang tries to cut in. JP and Peach is around, Jonicus is around, and we've got a bit of carnage. They keep out, they don't cause any more carnage, but that's two McLarens at the back of the field.
Coleman out as well, so that is a big incident there in the first corner. I think Johnson got in the back of Sang, but yeah, it's Sonicus, I think, that end up coming out worse from that as well. So we've obviously
we've got more carnage at the second chicane too. We've got a yellow dot. There's a couple yellow dots. This might be a safety car. Oh, there's even more carnage. Wow, yeah, that'll be a safety car. And they're still spinning and still hitting each other. Oh my God.
Well, looks like a Friday night down at the local car park with a few hoons going everywhere. We've got obviously cars pointing the wrong way, and it is safety cars being called. So what happens here, Mia? This is the first time I've seen the safety car in a sprint series in my limited time of calling. So obviously you've been involved obviously in the sprint series for some time. So what ends up happening here at the moment?
So for the beginners in the chat and for you as well, Neil, basically once the safety car is called, the leader is to drop down to 120 k's as safely as they can, either it be lifting or just slowly braking, and then they hold that pace until race control says otherwise. So now at the moment they'll all queue up. I think they'll get going this lap. Probably race control saying to slow it up to 80 k's to get everyone to pack in before we go green again, but looks like we are going to get that happen. Yeah, basically we try and spend as little time under the safety car as possible. So for example, if everyone queues back up again, we'll go green this time by. If not, we'll do another lap and then go green next time by. So it's very simple. Basically, it's just sort of like a race start, but it's in the middle of a race. So Seng will be doing 80 Ks now by the looks of it. Everyone will bunch up, and I would say we'll get a restart this time by.
Yeah, no, so none of the damaged cars get a little opportunity to go in the pits under another safety, like another lap. So that what you're saying is now that they're all queued up, we should be going this time around.
Yep, now it would be interesting to see here where Seng goes, because he could go early, and he goes as early as he can. Wow, that's I wouldn't have gone that early, because Samuel might get the draft here down the front straight, but we're now green again, and at full pace too. So we've got a lot of silvers, an Audi in third place. That's interesting. Now into turn one again, they should get through here safely, seeing as they're all spread out.
And just look at Thistleweight around the outside of Walsh, and it looks like he's going to make this one stick.
Bit of a couple. Easily lost it there.
Yeah, Keys held that Lexus, still pointing in the right direction, but here comes, I think, that BMW of Chalmers that we commented on the grid that looks fairly impressive. So he's making a move on Keys, maybe up into the second chicane.
Had a look, but it's a bit too early. And we see now we've got the two remaining Kovacs cars at the front of the pack. Whoa! Right on the back of an Audi, we've got Carl Johnson and would be John Sonicus, if my naming is correct. They're very close. They're very close to each other. I don't think John will go for a dive. A bit too far back. Carl probably shouldn't go for a dive either. No, they don't. They've got 65 minutes of racing left, and that rear of that McLaren is not happy at all through Ascari. And I think John's going to get a run here. He's right up the back of the car. Slipstream pull out here. Side by side with Carl. He'll probably let him go here. He does. And into P5. Next target would be that Audi of Walsh in front of him.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling when you, in the first 5 minutes you've got a car dancing all over the shot, is it, Mia? And you're thinking, I've got another 65 minutes of trying to hold on here. So hopefully it's just some cold tyres for Carl Johnson, and he can get going to Shady. Samuels puts down that early fast lap there in position 2, but looking at John Sonicus, seeing if he can get in front of Walsh earlier, sooner than later I should say. As we're getting too wide still through the first chicane here, Mia, so they're still not, they're still going for it here on lap 3.
Yeah, they've probably been all bunched up behind a couple cars here, but actually in front of Real here, they're probably going too wide, I think, for about probably 12th or 13th. They are too.
And how's the big mover of Jensen from the back of the grid up into 15th at this stage? And look at as you said, they're all nose to tail. He runs a little bit wide. Oh, a little touch there on with the Nissan.
And here comes
Mike.
Mr. JP's going to collect a couple more positions here. Now I wonder how damaged that car is from the lap 1 car park, because, and it'll be also interesting as well to see what will happen with that, because if we do get a replay later, probably describe what would have happened, but I'm going to say that probably JP turned in when Seng was there and turned himself around, but I would like to have another look at it. You can see behind JP there, Real is still losing positions. Probably I think he lost a position there to Viney into Ascari.
Tell you what though, JP's making this look easy, isn't he? He's coming through the field at a rate of knots, as he needs to, because he doesn't want to lose touch here as Seng comes through. He's already gone through for the start of his fourth or fifth lap.
47.52 in these conditions, so he's not hanging around. He wants to go as fast as he can, because he could, and that's another thing too. This is interesting. We'll get to see who fueled up enough to make it to when the rain drops, or if people have fueled up for a 25-minute first stint, because if they have, oh, there's a car around there in the infield of turn 1. But
that's not the Audi, is it? I don't think.
No, I think that's a purple, looks like maybe a Ferrari or McLaren, but back to my point, yes, you can knock out 2 pit stops if you fuel up for 25 minutes and come in for the wets. But the thing is that if it then dries up within that second half of the race, you're pretty much going to be serving an extra stop where you don't need it. So this is going to be a game of cat and mouse in terms of strategy. But
Yes, sure, we want it.
I can't wait to watch it happen in the next 20 minutes. As you can see, Pete is still getting through the field here.
So I missed the start of the blue split race, so Mia. So how was it? Actually rain from the start, or I did hear someone saying it was wet qualifying. So I'm assuming it's probably wet from the start.
Yeah. So it was the dry session was qualifying, and that was still pretty wet. So I think off memory I did a 52 flat in qualifying, and at the end of the race my fastest lap was 52.6. So it never got dried, it was still wet. As you see here, John has gone past Walsh, Shady's gone quicker than Sang now, so that battle for the lead probably will heat up soon if we're lucky enough. And Pete is now on the back of Kidman.
Yeah, they're in touch of one another in their own little battle groups, aren't they? And it's good to see some of the drivers from Split Blue is also joining you, Mia, watching this Split Red as Tom Frustruck is happy with his 14th overall in that last race, so well done, Tom. And yeah, it's good to see Gorilla Snapper again. He loves the Split Red, so it's good to see him back tuning in tonight as well. We got Darius all over the shot. And is that Sonic as we saw in the pits as well?
No, this is... as much as I would hate to say it, I think the servants had a bit of a heart attack there. I hope it stays up. But yeah, because it dropped Sonicus back to 21st. People are still going off. Oh, I hope this is not what I think it is. Because we're so early in the race, I don't want this to happen.
Yeah, well, just fingers crossed that we can keep it going as Sang has got a nice lead, and it's really shaping up to be a good battle between him and Samuel. But it looks like Samuel's now in front, but this could be, as you say, maybe a server little issue, but he is actually in front. But it's swapping and changing everywhere, so maybe you're right, there's a little bit of a instability here. But as you said, the drivers are still going around here, and Mike Reel in 12th, trying to get into that top 10 if he can.
And I think we've had Pete disconnect from the race, so that'll be a shame for him, because if he doesn't come back, it'll be another round where it doesn't score points. And I think we've lost another car too.
Yeah, as Mad Dog saying, lots of discos are happening, and Swampy Butt saying teleporting in the background he can see as well. So yeah, let's see if we can get through this little stanza here and keep these drivers in, hopefully.
Yeah, there's a lot of, let's say, carnage going on with the server at the moment, but I think it's sorted itself out for now.
I think the Tifosi aren't used to seeing a car like Bendix right behind Mike Reel, so maybe it's just going a little bit crazy seeing the spandex car of Bendix. They're used to the nice Ferrari red, but not so colourful car as Bendix. But here we go as a replay. This will tell you, answer all your questions, Mia.
Yep, so we're going to turn one here. So watch Peach and Sang here. So I wonder if Peach turned in on Sang, or yeah, look, it looks like it, but I'm not race control, so it could be different. But yeah, that looked like a typical turn one. You know, not really knowing how much gap you're leaving to the car behind, and I think behind too it was very much sort of the same thing as well. So, but the good thing was that we didn't have that much death in turn one. They just decided to do it at the second chicane. So I do actually want to get a replay of what happened at the second chicane, because it looked like it was not that great with the amount of cars parked up afterwards.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a car park, but we've obviously got JP. He's laughing out loud at the moment. He's probably not too happy as well, but anyway, he'll move on and look and probably support his brother here in position 3. But this battle here for the lead between Samuel and Sang would have been good to have JP up here as well, because I think it would have been a good 3-way battle. Let's not take it away from all the guys that are still out there at the moment.
Yeah, you can see Pete is now back in the server, but yeah, in the lead, in the battle for the lead is now, they've sort of closed up but it's still been about half a second since they've kind of sorted themselves out, got into a rhythm.
Yeah, wouldn't there be a lot of support for Sammy here in Monza though? We're just talking about the Ferrari Red with the Tifosi crew, the crowd, so they want to see the Ferrari beat the BMW. I think few of the viewers may like to see a Ferrari take a win as well here tonight.
I think it's going to be split between seeing a BMW win on Italian soil or seeing a Ferrari win in its hometown, sort of hometown. But these two have pulled an 8-second gap to John behind. And then if you look at the timing board there, it is, you can throw a blanket over 4th all the way down to about 15th. It is so close in that midfield.
How's it going to be when the rain comes? Well, the rain has actually disappeared on the forecast, so you know we may get out of this wet free. We don't know yet, but I was going to say the pit stops is going to be absolutely crazy if a lot of that mid-pack follow one another. Just trying to find your pit bay could be a problem as well.
It's going to be less about the pit bay, more about finding where you are on the track in the spray. As Samuel, I think, just got a little bit balked up by that Lambo they were lapping. But no harm, no foul. That's given saying about 2 more tenths ahead of a gap. So it'll be sort of happy now. He's pulling away from Samuel. But back with the rain, it's really, oh! Shady's just been hit by the lapped Lambo. Oh no. I hope that's not what I think it is. I think it is. I think that Lambo has misjudged its braking marker and instead of escaping from the scenario, decided to use another car. That is, oh.
Yeah, and he's got bite marks all down the back of his car. Here we go. This is a replay. This will tell the story. Yeah, I think you're right. Look, he's tried to avoid it, but just he probably could have tried to get on the grass a bit more. But I tell you, when you heat the moment, so many things are happening. But yeah, you did say that you're right. He definitely got it all wrong. He won't be feeling too happy himself. You know, he'll be gutted himself that he's taken out probably a good challenge there for the lead of this race. But you know, sometimes you just got to put that behind you and try and move on, and I guess learn from it as much as you feel like a piece of dirt or bit of mud, I guess. But anyway.
Yeah, two things happen there. Either he sort of misjudged his braking marker and then proceeded to sort of not think about going onto the grass fully, or maybe might have had a lag spike or something like that, because I know that we had a couple of those in split blue earlier tonight, so that could have happened as well. But you know, Shady wouldn't be feeling that great. That rear of that car is not looking healthy, but he's still got second, luckily enough, which is good for him because he's be able to score some good points out of this if he stays here.
I tell you who will be happy at the moment is Lucas Keys in that Lexus, up in 4th, the highest position he's had this season. So he's doing himself a really good job at the moment.
He'd be loving it because Monza's a really straight line, a straight track, and that Lexus is only good on the straights. It is not that great a cornering car per se. If you were here for Kyle Lamy last week, the rear of that car was not to be found with any grip. So I think he'd be loving
struggling. I think there's one stage there, I think I said, oh, he looks like his the car's not going too bad. Next thing you know, he's hopping. He's struggling. The rear end was all over the shop when we were in the car following him at the time. You could just see how loose the back of that Lexus was at Kyalami last week. But there's a nice little battle in the mid-pack as well, from Chalmers in position 7 down to Bushell and Boscovus as well. So they're going pretty good, as we've got a penalty coming through for John Sonicus.
So we've got a drive-through penalty for lap 1, I believe, for what would have been JP for dangerous driving, unless that was with the 555 of John. I need clarification on that, but a drive-through penalty after lap 1, that is harsh.
Here's Chalmers in the well-decked out BMW with all the colours of the Kovacs. They got the purple, blue, red, yellow, blue, all that. and doing well in the number 78 BMW. Leader of the Pro-Ams as well, holding off Bushel.
Alright, I've just had a quick look, and yes, so JP got a drive-through penalty. Oh, Chalmers loses the rear there. We'll get back to that in a second, because Bushel here is on the rear. Same thing with Buskov as well. This is going to be 2 Ferraris, 1 BMW. This might not end well in the turn one if they keep it, if they keep going as aggressive as they are.
The one thing, Boscovus actually made a position there, and that's Squabble, so he should probably try and duck in behind the BMW, because he's left himself open, but he's been able to hold on to that position just behind the BMW. But talking about a tap, there's an extra tap as go round goes one of the Nissans of what? It's not Thistlewade, it's Mike Reel, I think it is.
So back to what I was doing before. So number 44, JP Sonicus, did get a drive-through penalty for dangerous driving on lap 1. I don't know if that was for
we've got a lot of people dropping out. Sorry, I just thought I might mention that. I can see we've only got 17 runners now.
Yeah, it seems like the server's having another heart attack. But so I would say before the first chicane sort of turned himself in on Sang, I'd say is what the officials would say, and then the 555 of Sonicus got a 15-second penalty. Actually, Sang has left. He's been disconnected from the server. That leaves Carl Johnson with the lead. This, as much as I hate to say it right now, I've got a good feeling this could be a red flag race, because there's been a lot of disconnects and the server is still having a heart attack. So, but
yeah, I think you could be right. But anyway, we'll wait and see and wait for that race control call. But yeah, as Lucas Keys, he's dropped out as well, saying all top 4 have gone. So these drivers, they're running around, they're quick on the keyboards as well on the YouTube channel as well, aren't they? I have trouble just steering and trying to talk to my teammates, let alone type at the same time.
Yeah, it seems like so the top 4 having disconnected. It looks like Keys disconnected, Sang disconnected, but Sonicus and Samuel are still on the track. But they're not being counted laps, so they're moving down the scoreboard just because of that. So we'll still probably have cars trying to get in and keep going here to score points, but this will be a wait and see moment, I'd say, with how this race would go.
Yeah, obviously we won't jump to conclusions, and look at the Spandax Lamborghini in the background of Bendich in the top 10 now. This is a one for the ages. As we're looking at Walsh, it's Kidman, sorry, just in front of Mike. I think Mike was the driver that got turned around, I think, in maybe the Nissan. I'm not 100% sure. A couple of laps ago.
Yeah, he was the one that got turned around at the first chicane. Just as we saw the 2 ahead have their little tangle as well.
So, and as I said, even on the grid, we're going to see a bit of Chalmers. He's up in position 2, just behind Carl Johnson, I think it is, in the McLaren leading this race. So we've had a couple of drivers drop out, and the McLarens are still up in front. And we're having a good move in the Scari here, but it's pretty tight to make a move in the Scari. You've got to get it done fairly early, don't you, Mia, to make that one work?
Yeah, well, it's very much, if you're trying to overtake someone in front and you're closing them out of the Scari, you've got to very much either get them into Parabolica or set the run up out of Parabolica where you make it easy on yourself into the first chicane. It'll be a fight of top speed here, because it'll be a McLaren versus the Nissan, with a McLaren behind the Nissan, so it's a McLaren sandwich here for Mike Reel at the moment.
A couple of cars in the pits as well, as they're all coming back. I think Sang's in the pits. So there's, as you said, Lucas is in the pits. So a few of the boys, they're all coming back in to try and gather the points that they can here tonight. But Sang definitely needs to come back, as he's leading the championship, and though he's got a healthy margin, he doesn't want to come away with no points this round. Just whatever points he can get is going to help him. We're halfway through this championship, I think, too, Mel. I think we got 3 more rounds after this one. We got Paul Ricard and then Barcelona, and then driver's choice to finalise this race. But this series, but it's again, Mike's having a good look at Kidman. Kidman's running almost wide, but still staying it on the Astro turf.
Oh, a lot of curve there for Real through the second Lesmo. But he's right on the tail of Kidman. Johnson is there too. Real's going to look out here. He's going to go for a move into a scurry. Will he yet be side by side with Kidman? Will he get it through? A lot of room given. Side by side. This is going to be dangerous here in the second bike. Kidman has let him go, but he's got to have Johnson looking for it. He goes wide out of the scurry there. Johnson is right on the back. And then you got Benedict as well there too. So it's now become a three-way battle with another driver joining in here.
Yeah, credit to Kidman, because that could have ended in tears. And look, he's still going. He's holding that position in sixth position as well by not trying to fight too hard on Mike. Mike did have that run, but I tell you what, we know that Johnson, he won't die wondering either in position 7th. So he may have a little sneaky look down here into the first chicane. I think he might be a bit too far back.
Yeah, ooh, Kidman though, deep on the brakes. That's going to open the door to Johnson, I'd say, through the exit of this first chicane. And now it's a 5-car battle for what is P6.
I hope you're enjoying this, viewers. It's plenty going on, and we've had a little bit of problems with some disconnects, but this racing's hot here in this mid-pack, and they're taking every little opportunity they can while the big boys find themselves back in the pits to rejoin this server. But look at Kidman holding off Johnson.
This is I'm going to hate to be Benedict here, because you're in a double McLaren sandwich. You're in a 5-car fight. Every single one of the McLaren. You've got Ferrari off in front. I think that's Bushell too, and he's going to rejoin directly in front of this pack of 5.
Yeah, costly mistake.
This is it's now a 7-car pack. They're a bit separated out, but this mid-pack at the moment is very exciting.
Yeah, it sure is. This is what we come to watch, though. We don't want to see cars just following from gap to gap. This is here we go.
Bushell had a massive moment there, and I saw him in the air, and everyone's going to take conversive action just to avoid that. Everyone got through it scot-free too, and now Luke is going to have a look here at Kidman into a parabolica. Gets it done beautifully, and in front looks like Real is having a look at Chalmers in the BMW.
Well,
Kidman there, yeah, Kidman throwing the white flag up. And rain in 10 minutes actually, but this could be interesting. There's a bit of light rain coming up.
Yeah, we've seen the forecasters, they've been getting it wrong on and off, so that may disappear, but yeah, there's might be only a little bit of rain, so maybe the slick tyres may last that little rain shower that's coming through as we come in to look to see Bendix now getting a move done on Bartlett, I think it is.
I think Bartlett was behind Bendix, so probably Bartlett's going to have to look here at Bendix.
Look at Chalmers under the pump now from Mike in this BMW for Kovacs Racing.
Actually, I think that's one of the Air McLarens in between Benedict and Bartlett as well. I can't tell which one that is. It could either be Small or Herbert, but there's a bit of a lap car between the two.
Yes, we got Tom Frustucks just asking if he did actually finish 14th last race. He's a bit confused, so I think we're all a little bit confused at the moment too, Tom, but I hope you did finish there in 14th. The results probably will come up at some time later on, so check those results.
Oh, there's the Air McLaren has got around in the background.
Oh, look at this Shady Samuel.
Being given a 50-second. I'm guessing that could be how Luke got turned around at the first corner there, but it could also be for what happened at the second chicane.
Yes, I think you could be correct there, Mia. I think you're right on the money there. Is just looking at Chalmers running fairly wide, but that's probably the fast line out of the parabolica at the moment. As Johnson, I think goes. No, not Johnson. I think it was Mike. Might have gone into the pits. Yes, he did. So a few of the boys coming in for a pit stop, and as you said, They're not hanging around to see if that rain is actually going to eventuate or not. They're coming in, probably putting their slicks on and get back out there, get some heat probably in those tyres, mate. All right, so Johnson's still leading the way here with Walsh, the Audi, in second position.
And we've just got word through that this race will be red flag from here. And I would say it would be due to the fact that we've had a lot of server issues, especially taking out a lot of the big contenders, but it's affected every single one in this split. So they will be told to, I would say, stop or get into the pits, but yeah, sadly this race will not continue in the next couple of minutes.
Yes. Yeah, so it looks like we're just waiting for the drivers to obviously get that word in from race control. So we've only got first words here in the commentary as Mia just announced. So it looks like this race will end under red flag conditions.
And yeah, there you go, slow it down now. So they've been finally told that this race has been called here. Sadly, about 20-30 minutes into this race, nothing that we really can do. It was more servers, maybe. And there's the rain. As we stop on track, the rain comes in.
I think Kunios has gone crying now, saying, "Oh, really? It wasn't our fault." Start the crying happening there with Mother Nature. So stay tuned to all the channels, guys. We're not too sure what's going to happen, obviously, with the affected lobbies of green split and also this red split. Obviously, further communication needs to come from race control and admin. So stay tuned to all your OOR Discord and socials there. Probably tomorrow, hopefully a decision will be made. So yeah, so all's not lost. I think we had some exciting battles there, Mia, though. It's a shame that it probably couldn't go on, but at the end of the day, I think it's fair for the competition that maybe that was a red flagged scenario here tonight.
Yeah, it was. I sort of had a feeling that this race was going to be red flagged after the first heart attack from the server, but it stabled out and then it had another heart attack, and race control, very much so decided to call it at the 40 with 30 minutes done in the race. So we don't know what will happen. Race control and the admin will talk to each other tonight and tomorrow, and we will get official word about both green and split red as well tonight, and we'll see what happens. A lot of speculation will happen, but we don't know what will happen until we get official word from both the race controllers and admin after these two very unfortunate early callings of races this week.
Yeah, so we'll probably end up wrapping this up, guys. We did actually have a window of a week break next week as well, so we'll just see what might happen. But obviously, none of this can be possible either with the good support of our sponsors here of Simrigs as well. So hope you've enjoyed, obviously, the two races. Well done to Mia taking out the blue split earlier tonight in a very wet Monza race. And we look forward for your company next time. And thanks again, Mia.
Thank you.
All right, that's a wrap. We'll see you next week or whenever we're around next time.